like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Buggy like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, ready to roll? Okay, guys, first day of minicamp for us. We'll go today and tomorrow. It'll be a very similar mode and operation that we've been doing as we've gone through this process. A couple things to hit you guys for your information. Everyone's here in attendance. We've had awesome attendance through this entire process. I think one shout out to our guys. I mean, we had 54 guys, 100% attendance through the whole offseason. And that does not include the chunk of rookies that we brought. So brought on board halfway through. And so it's been good. There'll be a similar list of guys that are in the rehab process, similar protocols. So Jordyn, similar process. Christian, similar process there. As we kind of go through those things. One shout out I want to make is just to our fans. Okay. So we just announced 21st straight year of sellouts. That doesn't go unnoticed. That makes this place really, really special. Credit to our fans. Certainly a lot of people in our organization to help make that happen. And so to go all the way back to 2006 with 100% sellouts from season ticket perspective, that's awesome. Couple guys I know that we'll kind of talk through about. Cam will be here later today for a visit. Obviously, nothing's changed on our end on that. Obviously, we know we'd love to have him back, and so looking forward to that visit. It'll be fun to see him, and we'll go through those conversations. And everyone else is here, so I'll open up for questions.
Any more progress on Cam's contract, or will this talks take place at some point today?
Yeah, him and Mickey obviously will have a little conversation there. I think everything's been pretty consistent through this whole process, allowing Cam to go through this free agency experience and making the best decision for him. And so I don't think our side has necessarily changed as far as wanting him back and having a great opportunity.
Would you say you're hopeful that something can get done today?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. But obviously this is a process that you get to go through, and so excited to see him.
Alan, speaking of the process, what are you trying to get out of the mandatory minicamp versus like the OTAs? Is basically be the same thing as far as the practice structure?
So I think what we look at, that's a good question. We've essentially done 8 OTAs, and now we'll have 2 days of minicamp. So we've done 8 days of heavy installation, throwing a lot of stuff on top of each other, and now it's kind of a chance. Less volume from an installation standpoint, more of a higher expectation of, okay, we got to collect all this 1 through 8 information and put our guys in a lot more situations. And so you'll see some more situational football in there a little bit more tempo, some things to stress our guys a little bit as far as, recalling all that they've learned over the last 2 months.
Is Olave in the same protocol as last week? Or?
Yes. Yeah. Similar protocol for Chris, obviously. All good there.
Will he go through individual and stuff?
Yeah. Similar format that he's done. He's, an individual. He can go, he'll be out there in all the walkthrough settings and all that sort of stuff.
What's like the reason behind? I know like the blood clot, but is he supposed to avoid? I know it's a no contact setting, but like, why can he do individual and not?
Yeah, just avoid any of the risk of the contact this time as he's kind of going through his process, and so everything's going well though, no issues.
Kellen, can you talk about the 2 red rushers you signed in the offseason, Wilson and Jennings and Olave?
Yeah, really fired up. I think Jennings, Tyree, to onboard those guys who've played a lot of football in this league that are still relatively young, that will be able to contribute in a really positive way for us. And so, I think those guys have really big time experience. And, I think that depth of that group obviously has been increased. And I think that's going to be to our advantage, the versatility that group has to be able to rotate those guys, but also play multiple guys and really put a stress on the defense or on the offense, excuse me.
In last year's offseason, you harped on situational football. Of course, you were still learning the team, but now with the year under your belt, what is the expectation level or the confidence level of the situational football aspect?
Yeah, I think that's where we're starting to build now. The last 8 days or 8 OTAs have been really focused on the scheme component. Obviously, a ton of weight room work and all that goes into it. Now we're kind of transitioning a little bit, and part of our expectation is these OTAs just transition right into training camp when we hit the summer. And so there'll be a ton of situational football, and the real football gets closer and closer come July. But again, we're just continuing to build.
Change anything going from outside to inside? And is the rain just like doesn't do any good to be out in the rain?
Oh yeah, with the weather. The only challenge is the punt component, just because you're not able to punt inside in a full capacity, just because you're going to hit the roof. And so that's the only thing that we kind of have a challenge of, is just trying to get Ryan a few reps. If we can get outside in one of these 2 days, we'd certainly do that. We'd love to do that. And then Ryan can get some punts, and our returners can get some more live returns, not just the jugs machine. But that's really the only thing we're kind of confined by if we go inside.
In the past, there were times when Sean Payton wanted to take a team outside in the rain. There's not a whole lot of value to that at this point, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's time and place sometimes, depending on what it is. Obviously, we have protocols in place that if a certain horn goes off, then, we're in. That's what we're doing. So,
what have you seen from Taliesin Fuaga so far? Obviously, coming off the year where he had to deal with some injuries and was banged up. What have you noticed from him this far?
Yeah, I think just confidence. His confidence coming in this year, what the work he's put in this offseason, he looks really, really good from a physical standpoint. He's practicing really well. And I think you just see the confidence, and that's going to, come out on the field.
Did you notice anything about kind of his approach while dealing with a couple injuries last year, and did anything kind of stand out with how he responded to that?
I think anytime you have to go through those, you gain resiliency, and what he had to navigate just with some unfortunate injuries. They're kind of goofy ones during the season, getting rolled up in a couple of unique ways. He fought back. He found a way to keep playing whenever he could. And I think when you go through that and then you find success on the other end of that, that gains a little confidence.
Last week, you talking about Etienne, you were kind of saying like he's a player, his football IQ kind of allows him to stay on the field for 8 down. What does that afford you as a play caller when you don't have a substitute out for various reasons?
Yeah, I think it's just it allows you to navigate the substitution packages a little bit different when you can keep a guy on the field. We still like to rotate these guys. We always will. When you play with some tempo, it allows you to have players on the field who can handle all those different situations. You don't have to substitute in those maybe second to third downs, or third down into first down. You can keep guys on the field, and obviously that's an asset that we like to emphasize as far as utilize that tempo when we can.
And then for Vernon Broughton, obviously, you don't want to see a guy get hurt in the first game of the rookie year, but when he has to be kind of just around and setting everything up, what do you want to see out of a player like that when he can't come on the field? Did he kind of check any of those boxes?
Yeah, excited for Vern. I think D lineman, this is a tough process during OTAs. There's just limited contact. A lot of theirs is going to be focused on technique with Bo, and they do an excellent job there. And then it's really assignment focus in the team periods, just because the physical component's hard. Once the pads go on, then these guys come alive. And so I know all those guys are excited for that part and excited to get to that point. And I think Vern's going to, play really well.
Was he able to get anything out of last year, just from watching and being in the meeting?
Yeah, I think anytime, we have a number of guys who kind of, took advantage, I think, of maybe what is potentially viewed as an unfortunate situation, injuries, missing a season, and they're able to turn it into, okay, they work their tails off with Ted and Ben and Sean in the rehab process, and they get better and stronger in that time. And then they're also in the classroom. They're also in the meetings, so they understand the football aspect. I think you can see it from Vern. You can see it from Jalen Polk, a couple of these guys who took advantage of that, and, they're coming out better on the other end.
What do you guys need from Cesar Reese next season?
Yeah, excited for C's. Excited for him to just find some consistency there at the right guard spot, play really good football. I thought he came in really good shape this year, has worked really hard. I think the details that he's practicing with has obviously been showcased, and so I'm excited to see him, showcase it once we get to the pads.
Kellen, what guys identified to maybe where he may have the type of season that he was maybe used to having last year?
I think every guy gets to evaluate film. Coaches evaluate it. We all work together. We're all trying to get us as to be the best version of ourselves. And, I think he's certainly done that. And so, I think there's always little things in every position that you're going to work on. And so I think he's done that, and the coach has done that as well.
Kellen, when you look at the star position, how important that is in Coach Staley's scheme, how important is that you come out of camp heading into the season, that you have that most confidence in at least a couple of players, and not just if Sanka's working out, but you're able to do the same type of things, that you have that 1-2 punch?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that star position, you can kind of compare it to like playing tight end on the offensive side, where, you're asked to be involved in every aspect of the game. You're playing in the run fits, you're a pressure player, you're a coverage player in zone, you're a man-to-man defender in man. You're asked to do a lot of things. And so the reps are needed in that position just to see all those different looks. And so with that being said, you're going to need depth. You're going to need depth to play in that position. Jonas has done an excellent job of kind of acclimating himself to that position. There's a bunch of other guys kind of from that safety position that can kind of slide down, a couple corners who can slide in. And so you're going to need all those guys to have that experience just as a full season takes its course. But I thought Jonas done a really good job of acclimating himself.
Is Devin Neal injured?
Yeah, Devin he had a little injury the other day. And so, he's just kind of more in the rehab process now.
And we saw Kendra Miller at least take like a rep during walkthrough. Is he kind of progressing?
Yeah, he's working his way up. He's progressing really well. He's been participating in the walkthroughs.
Alvin and I guess Nathan Shepard as well have a full amount of like team reps and everything, even though they hadn't.
They'll be limited just from workload capacity, just because obviously they haven't been a part of the full training program from our standpoint. So it's more in the evaluation stage of just getting those guys acclimated. They'll do Indy, and I'm sure they'll sneak in for a couple reps maybe here and there.
Kellen, last week, David Edwards was telling us how Tyler made a check or not local lineman during a walkthrough period and really pressed him for a young player.
Yep.
How much freedom do you all give him to make those kind of checks?
I think that's a building process. And the more guys are in a system, the more consistency they have, the more flexibility we're going to be able to create. And so, that was a great example. It was just walk through where this time of year where a lot of times we're just installing core concepts, core plays. We're not necessarily connecting, hey, we can go to this play all the time. And it was a play versus a look that's really not ideal for the play. And he just went, check, and changed the play. And I think all the linemen are fired up because, that gives us the opportunity to get to the best plays in some of these situations. And Tyler's done a great job of preparing.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in this one, man. Much love to the fam. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one. Surprise stream, man. Coming at you, man, on this morning. It's before, I guess, midday. Kellen Moore and the Saints had I guess you could call it an introductory presser for the Saints minicamp 2026 minicamp, 16th and the 17th of June. And then after these days are over with, there'll be an extended break until you won't see them again until late July when the big camp starts. We're almost back at it again. It's crazy how this time is moving, man. It's already mid-June. It's less than 80 days toward the start of the NFL season. So enjoy the time now. The Saints are progressing and building at a really good level. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to hype the stream. Big Q representing the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We're going to talk about we're going to finish off the presser with Kellen, him giving some game on several different topics of discussion, and then we'll go into some of the news events that have occurred over the last, 48 hours involving one Cam Jordyn. And also we'll kind of preview this, the Saints mini camp with things to look at. We'll talk about that momentarily. So big ups to you guys as well. Much love to everybody. I see y'all in the chat. OG Jerry, he's saying the Sean Payton is no, you looking at the intro, OG, that's what you're saying, bro? Oh, the intro? No, the intro, the only time you see Sean Payton in the intro is when they make light, because Sway does the song where he breaks it down and it talks about the Bounty Gate situation, the cheating NFL, that type of thing. And you see Sean imploring to the referee, and the referee just waves him off like ain't nothing happened. That bastard need to be fired and not be ever hired as a referee at all. But nonetheless, that's what it's a liken to. It's not the fact that it's whatever the Sean Payton. It's the fact that it is referencing the Bounty Gate during the song. All right, so big ups to the rest of you guys. Appreciate y'all. What's up, Brother Wallace? Much love. OG says we need Cesar cut immediately. A lot of people are saying that about Cesar Ruiz. The Saints are not going to. Family members is DM me and messaging me, asking me about my thought process on one Cesar Ruiz, one we affectionately call the salad. Is he chopped salad? Is he, he's not chopped salad yet. Okay. He's not, he's not chopped salad yet. What Cesar Ruiz simply is at this current juncture of time is a person that is overly aware of the fact that the Saints recognize his inconsistencies and that he needs to improve as soon as possible. So that's what's going on in terms of Cesar Ruiz. I don't believe the Saints will release Cesar Ruiz. They will monitor his production, to see what happens in terms of do they see any consistency. Something that we talked about for years here is that the guy, his technique is bad, and he's very inconsistent with his technique. His leverage is off. Sometimes his feet is spaced too far out. Sometimes it appears that he's not strong enough. Sometimes he's not, he'll help double block a defensive lineman, forget to slide off to go to the next level to go and get the linebacker. It's a lot of stuff going on with that. And the pressure's on because you're not on a rookie deal. You're into the first contract beyond the rookie contract, the big contract where you're making the money. And with the heavy money comes and the grade where they drafted you at comes the pressure to perform. You're going to be put on, and listen, this goes according to every player that we see that's on the team has a certain level of pressure. That's the part of the game that keeps you on your game. What's life without pressure? What do you learn? What's life without tests? How are you supposed to develop what you have on the inside if whatever's outside don't develop, not force you, but organically draw it out of you, where you didn't have the mental fortitude or any other thing to be able to, pass the process, so to speak, get to the next level. Use stumbling blocks as building blocks, so to speak. What is it? Every player, every person, matter of fact, comes with a certain amount of pressure, especially in sports when they're paying you a certain amount of money. You have to perform. And when people notice that you are not performing at a level, they're going to call you out on it. So Cesar's getting his right now, and sooner or later it'll be Carl Granderson. Carl Granderson, the once again for years now, we've been saying this, Carl Granderson, his stuff coming too now. Carl Granderson got that big contract, and since he's been paid, he has not looked like anything. I'm sorry. Carl Granderson has not been there. He's been, in terms of him playing the games, he's been there, but he ain't been showing up. So Carl Granderson time coming too. Like I said, you can't make the money and go quietly into the win and not produce. This is a high production business, and guys have to show up and show out. That's what it comes down to. Shout out to Hemisphere says, Q, my comment about Peyton was the reporter mentioned. No, I was talking about OG. OG mentioned about the Sean Payton thing. I was just talking to him about it. Sean Payton was the reporter mentioned Sean Payton about taking the team outside. No, I know what you're saying, bro. But OG was talking about something else about during the intro of it. You're seeing Sean Payton, and OG was saying it's the Kellen Moore era. And I said, yeah, we was making fun. Yeah, I guess OG wants me to add Kellen Moore into the intro. I could do that, OG, if that's what you mean, my boy. I'll make that happen. That new intro is going to start upon the preseason. When the preseason start coming out and the games start coming, y'all will see the new intro with all the latest stuff on it. You know how we do. We always keep it funky. All right, so that's the bottom line, man. Who That Nation, shout out to you, bro. Said since it's contract year, watch how they play this year. That's how Cesar Ruiz got that contract. Remember, there was when he hit that final year of his rookie contract, y'all hear me this. When he hit that final year of that rookie contract, that was his best year. That was his best year. The first year after he signed the contract, it wasn't all that. It was a knockoff of the first. But when he was on the line, for that last year of that rookie contract, because it was some question of whether or not the Saints wanted him here. And they just, he really did a really good job. He was motivated. If that might be the case now, because see, when the pressure on you, you don't start looking at the stuff about, well, they hating. No, they ain't hating, no. Because see, that's somebody that's not going to get better if they talking like that. Not every voice coming at you is one that's trying to tear you down. There's truth out there. It's just people don't know how to discern it. You know what you hear. If your ears is, if you don't, just talk to the Most High about that. Tell them tweak that, turn up your discernment power. Because the bottom line is, you know what's right and you know what's not right. You know what's meant for you and what's not meant for you. You cannot cloud and shroud out everything that people say, because a lot of times that's how the message gets through. Because sometimes the people you have around you, and a lot of these professional athletes and these entertainers get it, they got a bunch of yes men around them or yes women who just feeding off of them, and they would not dare tell them the truth about anything about them getting better, all this kind of old stuff. They wouldn't dare tell them that. So it's up. Sometimes the universe works like that. It'll come to you in different ways, and you got to know how to discern it. But I've been saying this about Cesar Ruiz for a while. He's just not good enough. He needs to elevate his game. This is a football team. We're trying to get somewhere. What's up, Colorado? Shout out to you, fan. Appreciate you as well. All right. Anyway, let's hit this thing, man. Let's finish this up, man. Y'all got to
And-
in the comment section, hit the like button.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Let's go
that's
free
trust
type.
and preparation. And I think Tyler, you can see his season last year, the way he grew in that. Some big time protection adjustments that he was able to get to late in the season. I can remember one against Miami on a late third down where he checked the whole protection versus an overload pressure, blocked it up, and was able to get a first down earned. I think the more we have the ability to control.
And in the back of that same game, that Miami game, he threw a touchdown to Chris Olave, dropped it right in his hands. Poor Chris dropped it. That would have won us the game.
Things at the line of scrimmage, the cleaner we're going to be able to execute because we're going to get to the right place.
Both he and Travis Etienne said from coming in from the outside, they thought Tyler was way further along than they would have expected from a second-year guy. Would you agree with that?
I think that's potentially a fair assessment. I think if you just are around here and you see how Tyler prepares, I don't think once you spend enough time around, you're not going to be totally surprised.
Love how measured Kellen Moore's responses is, right? That was almost politician-esque, how he answered that question about Tyler Shough. I think that's a fair assessment. It's like, oh man, Tyler, he didn't want to give too much because you want to keep everybody measured. You want to keep everybody as humbled as we can, because even though you look good right now, Tyler Shough has never played a full NFL season. So we still have to be about the business of handling it a certain way. Love how measured.
He's really prepared. He's really detailed. He asks questions all the time, which is a good thing. And obviously his ownership and leadership of this offense has been taking really good strides this offseason.
Kellen, a little off topic. Do you have World Cup fever?
I've been watching some of it. Yes. Yeah. I didn't play soccer growing up, but it's been good.
Kellen, you spent last year, so much of your offensive snaps were in shotgun last year, like 75%. Was that just out of necessity? Would you like to just be more balanced in your offensive formations? How do you kind of view that?
Yeah. We're definitely a lot of shotgun last year, probably more than we would normally be. I think sometimes it's recency bias at times. We played a lot more in shotgun in Philly, and so you kind of naturally just continue with that mode of operation. I think as our season went, we probably went under center a little bit more as the season went on, and certainly I think that trend will continue.
Does game situation also dictate that, like with the first quarter deficits and those type of things?
Yeah, I think that's a fair judgment. I mean, if you're in obvious passing situations, you're probably going to be in the shotgun.
With a guy like Tyree Wilson, obviously just a few years removed from being, such a high pick.
Yeah.
And, I mean, based on kind of what you've seen so far when you brought him in, like when you bring in a guy like that, are you hoping like you can kind of like channel like some of those, some of that potential that he kind of had like early on? And what else have you kind of seen from him so far?
I thought he had an awesome offseason. He's been a sponge as far as just absorbing all the information. I mean, he's going to be coached by Jay Rodgers, one of the best in the league, and learn all the techniques and all the fundamentals there. And then I think what's cool is just to see him hopping in on every possible opportunity on special teams. Like, hey, where can I learn something? Where can I find a potential role as we go? That's awesome, because a lot of times these guys, they have these opportunities and maybe it goes a certain way or not a certain way. And hey, I'm just going to keep finding opportunities. And I think that special teams embrace is an important part of this.
Kellen, we've asked you a lot about the camp situation, but is there still a possibility to get something done with Taysom, or at this point is that door closed?
I don't think Taysom.
We haven't necessarily had any conversations
That's
up
a
to this
no.
point, but you never know.
How does that change kind of?
The Taysom thing is no. I'm not closing the door, but like, I don't think that's even a thing. Like, I think the Taysom Hill experiment with the Saints is over with. I think that's done. Taysom had a great run with the team, and unless he wants to come back and the Saints bring him back at a super cheap rate, I don't see the Taysom thing happening.
You're thinking or play calling. He does everything. He's a lead in the eye fullback, tight end. I mean, literally personal protector. I mean, you can't replace him. I get that, but it does change a lot of things.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of roles that other people have to, take advantage of those opportunities. And so on special teams, on offense, there's a lot of guys that are going to have to play a lot of different roles, and guys are going to have opportunities to, jump to the next step. And so, I think in our tight end room, those guys are all going to be asked to be really versatile players. I think for our tight end room, those guys aren't just inline wise tight ends. We ask them to split out. We ask them to get in the backfield. We ask them to be a big motion and shift person. And so they got to have a lot of responsibility.
You going to ask Jordyn Johnson to go in the backfield? I've seen Jordyn Johnson block that play where the Saints run Jordyn like a fullback. Oh, man. I don't see that play often, but it's a very interesting dynamic here in Kellen Moore's offense because all those tight ends, the top three guys that he has, Jordyn Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, who's a third-round pick for the Saints this year, those are big athletic tight ends. And using them as such, man, like I said, the tight end package, man, is going to be off the chain for the Saints. Plus, if you add the fourth man, which is Maliki Matavo, it's going to be fun watching the Saints. But that is really cool because that red zone package is going to be on fire because, of that tight end look. Man, having those three tight ends there, that red zone look is going to be absolutely insane.
Play calling standpoint, when you think about QB power, QB sweep, it's different things. For your purposes, play calling is different.
Yeah, no doubt it'll be different. And that's what every season sometimes brings. And so you got to kind of look at the roster, and we all got a team together and kind of create the formula that's going to work for the 2026 Saints. It's always going to be a little bit different every single year.
We about to see some really interesting football from the Saints offensively speaking, family. We really are. See Kellen Moore bringing in his squad, going after the players. Basically an offensive draft. The pieces on the offensive line. I mean, he knows the team, fam. Like we talked about last year, I said when he came in, he don't really know who's who. It took him a full season for him to do the proper work to find out the stuff that we were saying for whiles, about where your weak links are. They found them. They found the weak links. The Saints are a vertical offense. They're a vertical offense. We said it before we knew the teams, like you got to attack downfield. The Saints are a vertical offense, meaning you got guys that can run down the field. You got guys that can come across and stretch. I call it S&S, stress and stretch, stress and stretch the defenses. When you start stretching out and stressing defenses, there's all kind of openings and things all around the field. They can't clamp up on the line and play you on the line like they did last year because you had unproven talent at the quarterback position. Now they have to respect the Saints game. Now we have to show them that off top, that we would punish you in a vertical game. But this man drafted 3 wide receivers to add to the 3 wide receivers he brought in last year to have with the guys that we still have here. Ain't no doubt about it, man. Kellen Moore's team is offensively going to be dominating in the NFL. Defensively, there might be some step back. We don't know. But let's finish this up.
No, he's here. He'll be a part of this process, obviously, again, more in the acclimation phase. And so, we could go.
Kellen, do you plan to talk to Cam when he comes?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Philosophically, how do you feel about that when you're in the recruiting phase? As a head coach, do you need the business to Mickey and that staff, or do you want?
No, I think there's always a balancing. Obviously, you're aware of it, but our job is to help these guys become the best version of themselves and be a resource. And
that means he leaves it to Mickey.
Provide as many answers to questions that players have as far as the situation they're being presented. And so
I'm walking on my feet.
I've talked to him previously.
Don't dance on my feet, guy.
That more.
When you broke down the film from last year, and you look at every game, what could you have done different, like in the first quarter, to get off fast starts? Because I know in your career playing or coaching, you've never experienced that.
Bob asked some great questions, Bob.
You thought it was almost a miss.
Come on, Bobby.
What have you learned to get off the quick results in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think it's going to be something that we definitely have to focus on as we kind of go into training camp and just kind of focus on it. Schematically, just playing really clean execution football early in games. Protecting the football. When you look at our turnovers, there was a healthy dose of those early in the games, and those led to challenging situations where you're kind of in the comeback mode, really quickly. And so, we certainly have seen it. We need to address it. We need to play better football, and I think it'll start in training camp with those practices of really emphasizing the start of practice, and then the schematic side of just making sure we play clean football.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Shout out to Kellen Moore. That was a great ending. Question for the end. The question was, how could you stop from getting off the slow starts at the start of games? And he talked about execution. But another thing is, if you think about what the start off, because we, as a family, I mean, a lot of Who Dat Nation, like myself, sit up there and watch these games. I did doing the play-by-play on the games is another thing, doing the play-by-play. Then actually going back and watching the games at least 2 to 3 times before the next game came. You know, you it's a different thing when you watch the game 3 times. Trust me, you see a lot. And in the games where they started off slow, and you guys put y'all thought process on why that was, is obviously to me it was execution issues. The Saints were not who they are now, right? They weren't sure of what to do. There was a lot of miscommunication. Guys weren't where they were supposed to be. They were still very new. Like coming out of training camp and preseason, it just didn't sink right away. It took half the year of multiple dozens of practices before you start seeing offense take root, defense take root. A lot of people astutely mention how good the defense played in the second half. It wasn't just the defense. They all were playing better. They all were. The offense really started blocking better and running the football. Guys started catching the ball that was dropping the ball early on. Guys was making the blocks that were missing the blocks early on. So you've seen overall better team execution. It just took a long time to get there, right? But once the Saints arrived, once they got there, it was like, hey, man, here we go. This is what it is. But that at that time, when they were losing games, another additive on top of the execution thing I just spoke about was the fact that they had no identity. You're not going to beat anybody in life or even sports or entertainment or whatever competitive arena in which you want to go into. You will not beat anyone or defeat anybody or win anything unless you have an identity of who you are and what you can do. Once you have an identity, then that's when the fun starts, ladies and gentlemen. That's when the fun starts. The Saints did not have an identity early last year or the first half of the season. But when the second half came, boy, oh boy, yes, they did. And then that's why you started seeing many of the games. They started winning. They started realizing what they're good at. That is the identity, knowing what we can do and what we can't do and what we need to work on. That's portions of that identity. So that's cool seeing that sort of thing happen. But really cool. Anyway, and listen, man, I just think good. Shout out to Kellen Moore, and the reporters did a really good job of dropping some game about that. Let's kind of get into this right here, fam. Let me kind of start this off right here, because as we get ready for the 2026 minicamp, it has officially arrived, and we're here for it, right? We want to see what happens here. We want to see our team improve. We want to see them get better. And this is what I got for y'all in this form of it. So here it is right here, the Saints 2026 mandatory minicamp, what we call the tracker. It's 15 essential storylines to kind of talk about the look out for this upcoming camp, right? And this is some of the stuff that we know what our ball team need to work on. So let's kind of start it off with number one, the Shuckinator. The Shuckinator himself talking about, you heard what Kellen Moore was talking about in the Miami game of last year. He called a play, he audible out it and called it the correct play. And Kellen let Tyler do it. And he's picking up the system faster. Well, Tyler Shough is a 26-year-old quarterback. He'll be 27, I think, later on in this year. So a lot of people were saying the Saints need to slow down and do this thing. No, they don't. The Saints are they're on the proper temporal flow. They are, because you are operating with a 26-year-old quarterback that's spent 7 years in college. He's going to be 27 this year. And you don't have, you're going to have to understand that he's not a 21-year-old where you're going to have to take 2 or 3 years, this sort of thing. He's going to pick up things a lot faster than some of these younger quarterbacks because of all of that experience in college playing the position and then the maturity level that the man has at the 26-year-old man. He's picking it up and he's going to run with it. Plus, he's already a smart dude. But the progression of him remains the central focal point of the mandatory minicamp. After bursting on the scene during a stellar rookie year, he enters the offseason as the undisputed franchise centerpiece that Coach Moore is actively trying to mold an entire playbook around him to accommodate his unique skill set, his dual skill set. He's just not a guy that stands at 6'5", whatever, 220 plus pounds in the pocket and deliver the ball in short, intermediate, and the deep routes. He's also a guy that'll take off. And a lot of people don't realize how fast that guy is. He has an extremely fast quick step. Very fast. He's very elusive. And a lot of people not going to realize, I'm talking about from the opposite side of the fence, won't realize how quick this kid is. Well, this man is in this. He'll show you. Because Kellen Moore has ways that you don't have a statue quarterback back there. You got a guy that can hand the ball off, a guy that can make all the throws, and a guy that can take off on a moment notice, and especially the plays where if you want to roll left or right, he can roll left or right. And I told you, he can deliver the ball pretty good when he's on the run as well. So when he starts to getting the moving and shaking, it ain't just the fact that he's going to pull that ball down all the time. He's going to keep them eyes upfield. If there's something up there, he's going to get that ball out there. So that's something interesting. So head coach Kellen Moore is actively molding the entire playbook to his unique capabilities. The main objective over the 2 days is to ease the operational burden resting on the signal caller's shoulders. Defensive coordinators now have plenty of game tape. Remember this, that they have plenty of game tape to analyze his tendencies from last year. They got half of season of game tape to try to break down and stop Tyler Shough. Remember that. So consequently, Shough must demonstrate advanced pre-snap adjustments to counter these looks. That's what it comes down to. Has to get better at reading the defense and opting into a play to take advantage of their alignment. However they're lined up, taking advantage of it, knowing when they're blitzing, how if they're coming in, how to audible out to a deep ball throw, whatever you got to do. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. So Shough's progress on Center Street. Number 2, Alvin Kamara's attendance in contract saga is another thing. Star running back AK-41 continues to create a massive shadow over the entire organization's contract questions around the veteran playmaker as he navigates the final stages of his current deal. Although he skipped parts of voluntary OTAs to make a financial point, his attendance at mandatory minicamp is fully expected, and Coach Moore did say that everybody's here. Coach Moore expressed extreme confidence in his playmaker and his foundational piece here. So the front office is balancing the long-term financial flexibility that Kamara's undisputed value on the field has, and the 2 days of practice will reveal how smoothly he fits alongside a newly acquired running back, Travis Etienne, which leads us into our third sticking point. But outside of that, that's the thing. There is no controversy, ladies and gentlemen, about Alvin Kamara. Let's just get that out and open, right? There is no controversy at all. None whatsoever. Alvin Kamara is under contract. They can't release Alvin Kamara with that post-June 1st cut thing that we talked about before because they used the Deion Sanders provision on him early in the year, which negated the ability to do that. There is no financial benefit of just outright cutting him. There's no sense in cutting him because there will be a huge gap at number 2 because your boy is still banged up too. Both of the guys are. So it makes no sense. Devin Neal is banged up. Kendre Miller still not back. So it makes no sense. And it is an indication to keep those 2, 1 and 2, together because they're interchangeable. You can have Travis Etienne back there and split Alvin out as a wide receiver. There's so many applications of this type of versatility. People will love to have that sort of thing. So I've said it before, I don't think he goes anywhere. Travis Etienne's integration into the offense Getting him represents one of the most exciting additions to the roster. He's versatile. He gives the Saints an explosive playmaker who can impact the game as a runner and a receiver, and in pass pro too. He's pretty decent at that. Coach Kellen intends to deploy him creatively to completely open up the team's offensive sequencing. Now, during minicamp, a lot of evaluators will closely watch how the coaching staff splits repetitions between him and others. Now, Etienne provides an elite style. He's an elite running and a lightning fast counterweight to existing backfield players or backfield options, right? His ability to master the playbook quickly will dictate on how he dominates the rush attack or how all this stuff will fit together. So that is point number 3 as we have the Alvin Kamara thing, him being a compliment to Travis Etienne. That is probably going to be good. Like I said, take into account that the fact that Kellen Moore's running back room right now, a little banged up. They're a little banged up. You got Travis Etienne at 1, AK-41. They're both healthy. You have the third running back, Kendre Miller. He's not back yet. Devin Neal, you heard Kellen said it just now that he's banged up. Then you got Audric Estime and others that are there. Ty Chandler, who's getting some reps as well. But it's a part of the thing to consider. And number 4, Olave's health status and participation, right? Star wide receiver Chris Olave enters minicamp facing some health and participation questions, that Kellen Moore talked about that he's dealing with. Now he's an elite pass catcher, has been dealing with offseason alignment ailments that limited his involvement during the voluntary workout segment. Now the coaching staff is taking an ultra uber conservative approach with the primary target to prevent any future setbacks. Even if he's limited to side field work, his mental engagement with the playbook remains critically important, right? So younger receivers will absorb and kind of bring in his standard first team targets while he focuses on just getting back healthy from the blood clot situation, right? That's scary. Getting Olave completely healthy before late June remains a top priority for the training staff. That is big. So that's one of the things that we also kind of bring light to as well, because Chris Olave, even though we know about the contract situation, he kind of put a deadline on, maybe a soft deadline, we want to say, on that contract situation that's supposed to happen for perhaps late July before camp. He does not want to go into camp with contract situation. So that puts Mick and Loomis them on notice about that situation. But health is uber important for Chris Olave. Now, the first-round draft pick, Jordyn Tyson's medical evaluation, first-round wide receiver, faces critical baseline tests regarding his overall health and durability. The number 8 overall selection dealt with nagging hamstring injury during the conclusion of his college career. The front office expressed total confidence in his medical cards when they turned in during the draft. Now, the minicamp office, versatile rookie, his first opportunity to showcase what he can do, because he can line up anywhere on the in the formation. His schematic flexibility is incredibly interesting to coaches. Now, he finishing those 2 days completely healthy will be a massive step forward his development. Getting him right. Ted Rath, one of the biggest acquisitions that Kellen Moore had since he came over here. Brung Ted Rath over here, who is a awesome trainer in terms of what he brings in with this cutting down of soft tissue issues that we've seen the Saints suffer with for years. Ted Rath he single-handedly, him and the Saints staff was able to bring down a lot of those soft tissue issues. I remember the number was 60% last year, reduction in soft tissue injuries. That allowed a lot of Saints to be active and engaged on the field. We need our top players performing. He was big in that, and he's bringing these guys, all of these guys. Several of our rookies that were drafted are dealing with nagging little injuries, nothing extensive, but Ted Rath has a really excellent feel for bringing these guys along and ramping them up and doing this sort of stuff. I remember playing a video of Ted Rath talking about how he craft his exercises or his drills. Like, remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember me. I played this a while ago because I thought this was fascinating. That Ted Rath, what he would do is he spoke about, hey, listen, This is not a track meet. Why? I'm not going to have you running, just running and all this kind of stuff doing this. He said, whatever drills that we're going to do will be in mind of what an NFL player does. If you're a defensive end, we got a certain crafted drill or drills, plural, for you. Like if you're a guy that got to get down in a pass rusher stance and take off in that stance, then he's crafting drills for them to get in the stance and fire off, right? And what sense does that make is because he understands that by doing that, it's muscle memory that's tied to it. So if he can, it's just so fascinating how the man broke it down, man, because, a lot of time people would just be training guys, like you have them doing a lot of running and you're not doing like running, like going, just sprinting. A lot of that's not happening. You'll run fast and then stop. You'll run fast and then stop. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of his thought process is the exercises and the drills mimic commonplace football behavior. That's so simplistic to how it sounds, but guys, a lot of those trainers wasn't doing that. They weren't doing that. They were just exercising like you go to Planet Fitness somewhere. Just doing and go jump on the treadmill over there and run for a mile. No, they wasn't. No. So that and then his understanding of how to prevent the soft tissue injuries that afflicted the team over many years is just awesome, man. Number 6, the changing of the guard and team leadership. The fascinating leadership transition is underway as the team searches for its next group of captains. The roster experienced a massive vacuum following the high-profile departures of longtime pillars like Demario Davis. Now, the players formally vote their team captains later this summer, but the initial voices are starting to step up right now. That's when you be paying attention. So Tyler Shough, presents a natural candidate to take over the vacant offense leadership slot. He already has that, right? On the defensive side, the path to finding the locker room anchor is significantly less clear. The mandatory sessions provide an opportunity for some of these vocal players to assert themselves as the leaders of the team. Is that Caden Ellis? Is that Caden Ellis? Who's willing to step up and be the new vocal leaders of the Saints defense? Who are they? Number 7, here's Cam Jordyn. We're talking about Cam Jordan's returns. High state contract sit down. The defensive front is receiving major spark at the franchise icon. Cam Jordyn arrives in town today to potentially negotiate a return to the New Orleans Saints. Now, the veteran edge rusher is scheduled to meet directly with front office brass to discuss a standing contract offer. Although he entered unrestricted free agency for the first time in his career, there's a mutual interest between both parties. It's still very high. So his presence at the team facility, as reported by Fox 8, concludes perfectly with the official kickoff of the camp. Now, while a signature is not considered imminent by some of these people, Pro Football Rumors, the sit-down represents the most significant breakthrough in the contract talks all off season. Now, getting Cam locked down in the contract would instantly stabilize the defensive line depth chart and restore essential captain to the locker room. Now, we did hear some stuff on that, man, and let me play this article right here for you guys. Not article, but this where is it? Let me play this interview right here. Let me get it tuned up here. But play this interview. This is what was done from the set with Teron Armstead. Shout out to him. He was the one that kind of talked about Cam, and I appreciate a lot of these type of shows. The former player talking to to current player shows, because it gives us. It was several times this offseason that T-Stead broke news about our favorite players from the Saints that the media simply wouldn't have got the scoop on, right? A lot of information that was given was because of the trust between the players. When, Teron Armstead, one of the greatest offensive tackles that we've had on our team, had connection to a lot of current Saints, McCoy and others, who gave good game about where they are in wherever they were, whether they were dealing with injury. We've seen the stuff with Cesar Ruiz, him talking about that. We've seen the stuff from Cam Jordyn coming through. We've seen the stuff from Eric McCoy. So he's doing a wonderful. Oh, yeah, Alvin Kamara was another one. So he breaks Saints news all the time from his channel. I just appreciate what he's doing, man, because without his connection, we would not be getting as intricate of scoops from our favorite players. So anyway, this is what him and one of the best Saints insiders, Nick Underhill, had to say about the Cam Jordyn rumor. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear this.
All right, my good people. All the fans here that's Cam Jordyn fans, Saints or not. Cam Jordyn will be flying to New Orleans tomorrow, going to the facility, planning to have a conversation. Nothing set in stone, but the hope is alive that Cam Jordyn will continue his career in black and gold. There's still conversation to be had. We're going to have a sit down, but
sound like he talked to
Cam
Cam.
is going to New Orleans this week. I'll be going to New Orleans this week.
Come on.
Completely unrelated. But hopefully, and it's my dream, and I've been saying this.
You
from
go
the
out to
very
that
beginning,
restaurant.
Cam Jordyn belongs in black and gold. He should be in black and gold for the rest of his career. He's a one logo guy.
Totally agree.
That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. I have nothing to do with how they get it done. I just hope that they get it done. Nick, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I made some calls after we talked this afternoon. I think there's reciprocal interest in putting this to pen to paper as soon as possible, both sides. Like I think they're both wanting to continue this, and man, we've been talking about this the whole offseason. Like there's a right way of this story, and who knows? Like the way Cam's playing, man, he just had 10.5 sacks on 54% of the defensive snaps. I mean, this might not be the last year. Like I can see Cam wanting to continue, but it just feels like as long as the story can continue and there's production and it's not bringing Cam back ain't a ceremonial thing. Like that's a guy that can help a football team. Like the numbers speak for themselves. Like the pressures are still good. I've been hearing from other teams like over the last couple of weeks, like people, hey, like, what do you think of Cam? Like, how's he been? Like, what do you think? You think he'd actually like? There's a market out there, people that are interested in him. So yeah, man, I think it should keep going. Like it's a crowded depth chart all of a sudden, but I think Cam slots in ahead of some of them other guys like very easily. I think there's a role for him. I think they're a better team with him, and I think both sides will probably I think they got to pay Cam some number that makes him feel respected and valued, but I don't think he's trying to break the bank and be the highest paid defensive. Like I think he's reasonable about where he's at, and I think if they get a little bit more reasonable on their side, that there should be a deal to be had. Man, like I said, 10.5 sacks, like, and not really playing on like third down. Like that he can help a team still. Like he still plays a run, still getting them sacks. But like furthermore, like the story should end with Cam is a Saint. Like he means something here. And I think Cam knows that too. Yeah, like he leaves, he ain't. It's just not the same anywhere else, and they aren't the same without him. And I just think as long as it makes sense, like he can help them, and he's still a good player, and they're treating him right. Like the story should keep going.
Right.
I don't think it's time for it to stop at this point. So, yeah, I think it makes sense, man. Like they brought in Anthony Jennings, they brought in Tyree Wilson. If Cam's on the team, I think he's getting snaps before both those guys. But there's a deep rotation there that I think all of a sudden becomes interesting. The 1, 2, 3, I think it's Chase, Carl, Cam, however you want to shake them up.
Mm-hmm.
Chase, obviously I think Chase might be the best player on this team at this point. But it's a nice.
He's
it's either him or Chris.
That's a strong statement.
It hits true though. It hits true because Chase Young has been realized. The major problem that Chase Young had was the fact that he could not stay healthy. And him coming to New Orleans was a slick move, one of the slickest moves the Saints had done, because the guy was a number 2 overall player drafted. The talent's still there. His issue was staying healthy. He credits Cam as the OG that taught him about the health situation. Cam is Mr. Longevity. Cam, DeMario Davis, they have the secret. They got the spring water from Shabala that keeps them productive and keeps them from getting hurt. So, yes, Chase, he's Nick Underhill. I agree with 100% of everything that was said about that. Is the fact that it simply is what it is. Now, from what word on the street, is like I've been telling you guys, unless the Saints are talking different money, this ain't gonna work. Unless the Saints are really ready to up the money, because the contract offered, it was a standing offer that was already on the books. And remember, he turned that down because he didn't say it was disrespectful, but then he talked and said about respect after the offer to Saints. It wasn't a respectful offer. Nick Underhill mentioned something about respect here, and I told y'all that then. I was like, man, whatever they offered was a low ball number that pissed Cam off. He's like, man, ain't I better than this? So this is really upon the Saints, in particular, Slick, Mick Loomis, and the GMs, if they want Cam Jordan. They did not, and I ain't no disrespect for Tyree Wilson or Anthony Jennings or these other guys. Those guys are not better than Cam Jordan right now. They're not. Those guys are not, no disrespect, and they'll tell you that, no, we're not better. They're just younger than Cam Jordan, but they're not better than Cam Jordan. Getting Cam Jordan back as a third pass rusher does so much. He is an automatic leader. He steadies the locker room. He teaches new players about Saint culture and winning and competitiveness. He's a voice there of reason, and it installs the ambassador of the game back to the Saints, and it helps soften the blow of the leadership void that we have. So Cam Jordan should come back, and I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-year deal because he believes in Tyler Shough and what the Saints have cooking. So whatever it is, it got to be the standing offer has to be elevated for Cam to come back here. That's why he packed up his locker and left, because of the offer Mickey Loomis gave him. Now, if y'all don't remember that, let me show y'all this right here, because this is also from Teron Armstead's show, The Set, when Cam Jordan stepped in there, and listen to what he had to say about it. Put one in a chat if you can hear.
Familiar, sure. Like, how has it been mentally just having all these other conversations and just being in this spot without a clear path yet? How has that been?
Man, I'm sort of good with it. I mean, if anything, you always want to say, what is it that you want from any one situation? And I came in knowing, after 10.5 sack season, 15 TFLs, 40-something tackles, all right, we have another season like that. We crack deep in the top 10. And at the same time, I'm also accepting the fact that at 36, everybody wants to go younger. Younger doesn't mean more proven than what is presented, but potential gets the league a lot. So under that stand in that space, there's a set value that I have in my mind. That value is to the eye of the beholder at this point. Value means position, rotation, monetary, sure, but more along the lines of, if I want to get 10, 12, 13 sacks this next season, then I need to be in the best position to do so. And it could be at the Saints. It could be at Miami Dolphins. It could be, I won't go now. It can't be Cleveland or Buffalo or Green Bay, but it could be. It could be.
You don't like the cold, huh?
Man, there would be a number that could get me over there. But then, is that what you want? I want to do it for the love of the game. Yeah, but there's also the pursuit of, right now, there's freedom to pursue hopping on a podcast on a friend's will, as well as putting together some off the field fun.
For sure.
So that's a bit of it right there. And shout out to you guys. Y'all hit that like button, hype the stream as we talking good game right here, listening to the potentiality that is the New Orleans Saints are meeting with Cam Jordan today. And of course, we'll get the latest on that as they're looking to perhaps make a move in bringing Cam Jordan back. Now, I played you the report from T-Stead. Shout out to him and Nick Underhill. And, of course, T-Stead's broadcast that he did with Cam when Cam talked about the attempts that the Saints want to use to get younger. Well, the issue, from my understanding and information that I had, was the fact that Cam Jordan wanted more than what the Saints were willing to offer, and the Saints was really to give him a low ball offer that was very disrespectful. And Cam was talking in terms of his resume. When he was talking about further in this interview, it goes into breaking down what his role as a Saints. Cam never had any scandals or any of these nasty stuff that you see some of these guys get involved in. He's always been a community person, and he was a rightful ambassador and representative for the New Orleans Saints. If you had a guy that showed up and just did everything that he was supposed to do, it was Cam the Man Jordan, no doubt about it. And then, of course, last year, Cam had 10.5 sacks, more than Chase Young, who is seen as the best player on the team coming into this thing. Carl Granderson had 6. Last year, Carl Granderson had like 6 or 7 sacks. So as of right now, the Saints have not replaced Cam Jordan's product. Well, you won't know until the season started, but still in all, these guys they're younger players, but some of these guys been in the league 3-4 years, have not even gotten close to what Cam Jordan was able to do. And at the same time, if you go back and look at their careers, when he started, he was doing things extremely further along than what they are, which pretty much what I'm saying is you're not out of the woods yet. You did not really do anything that blew the doors off in terms of getting an elite level pass rusher onto the team to say, okay, we got this guy. We don't need Cam. Even though Cam is getting up in age, his production has not tailed off. See, that's the thing you throw with it. The caveat is if you got an older player and the older player is not producing, that is something that you would look to move off the team. That is not the case with Cam Jordan, and I've said that before. Cam Jordan outproduced his younger counterparts. The only one that got close was Chase, and he missed a month worth of football. Carl Granderson has not gotten, and I'm warning y'all about Carl Granderson. I keep telling y'all the same thing. That signing Cam helps out a lot because it does take some of the pressure off Carl Granderson because he would have to get up off the snide with the 6 sacks or 7 sacks. I think the most he's had in a single game a year was like 7 or 8 sacks. So he has to in the last, I think Carl got 2 years or so left on his contract, something like that. He has to step the hell up because he'll be occupying the other edge rusher position. Cam will be utilized if signed as a situational pass rusher to come in and help. But Carl Granderson is the microscope. We talked about Cesar Ruiz. We're looking at you, but we also are looking at on the other end of Carl Granderson getting all that money. He need to start earning too. You need to start playing. We need to see something better from Carl Granderson and the sack side of things. But anyway, let's kind of move into this article right here. Y'all hit the like button as we keep this thing moving. From Times Picayune talked about it. Saints Cam making strides on contract ahead of minicamp. And this is, from the source as he talked about. Cam has made progress on contract talks on the eve of the mandatory camp. General manager Mickey Loomis has met with Jordan, the Saints all-time sack leader, multiple times this offseason. The source said the meetings have been productive enough that Jordan and the Saints will now meet again Tuesday, as the former Saints tackle left Teron Armstead reported on Monday. The sit-down will coincide with the start of the Saints' 2-day mandatory minicamp. Jordan has been a free agent since March, with the 36-year-old contract expired. The Saints made a contract offer to Jordan earlier this offseason and have been open to his return. Kellen said last week that the team wouldn't rush Jordan into a decision and that the offer did not necessarily have an expiration date. We are here to help in any way possible. Moore said we know what it means to this organization, what he means, and this city. If the opportunity presents itself and he feels comfortable and ready to go, then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Drafted the 24th overall back in 2011, Jordan's coming off a resurgent season in which he recorded double-digit sacks for the first time since the 21 season. Jordan has said he wants to continue his career and has no interest in retiring. After his free agency dragged on, Jordan said that he was open to the idea of playing elsewhere, but he also maintained that he had been interested in a return with the Saints, his home for the last 15 years. So the Saints kept an open channel with Cam. The team also added 2 pass rushers. The Saints traded for former first round tight end, defensive end Tyree Wilson, and signed veteran Anthony Jennings, right? So Jordan said in April that he did not think that the deal closed the door on his return. I don't know. He said, there's nobody the Saints acquired who produced the way I did last year. So my talent speaks for itself and all things work out phenomenal. I've always said I understand the business side to it, so I'm never worrying about it. But listen, I seen when you as a player, as passionate as a person, if you're a passionate person, you could say business and personal. The relationship that Cam Jordan has with the organization is both a personal and business relationship, because you don't have too many people that you will hire if you're a business owner that will be there for the summation, like 15 years, or a guy that overachieves and it just sets, the parameters. You know what I'm saying? He shoots through the glass roof, so to speak. Cam Jordan, when he came out of the negotiations with the Saints, you could see when he was talking to Teron Armstead at the time, you could see a little hurt in his face. And rightfully, he felt that his monetary value to the team based on his resume speaks volumes, and that he wasn't asking to break the bank. I said this at the time. He's not looking for a break bank contract. He's looking for a respectable contract in which he plays for an additional 2 years. It's not a 1-year deal. He wants to play for an additional 2 years. So we'll see where the Saints are with this situation today, and if something could be put together from a potential reunion between the Saints. I could tell you one damn thing. We do and can use Cam Jordan. We have not, he said it himself, and I agree with him. We haven't replaced Cam Jordan's production. The guys that the Saints brought in are guys that are what you would call them, need development. I say that. Tyree Wilson has pretty much been a disappointment from the position that he was taken at. The Raiders decided to move him for a 5th-round pick. This guy was a 1st-rounder. That's why, it's a reason why some of these guys, go from place to place. Like I take you at the as a high 1st-round draft pick, and then after 4 years or so, you're not hitting on nothing, or you're not excelling, you're not getting it. So I package you out for a 5th-round pick, and you was a first one, and you like a car as soon as it drives off the lot. You know what I'm saying? You severely golly, the depreciation on that person, soon as he left the Raiders, you depreciate it. Like when you buy a car off the dealership, as soon as you drive it off the curb, it is depreciating in value. Just think of that. The depreciation on Tyree Wilson, he was a top 10 pick for the Raiders, and he went from a top 10 pick to Saints getting him for a 5th-round, a high 5th-round pick. That's quite the depreciation. A similar thing happened with Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk depreciated quite rapidly in New England. They took him with the 2nd pick, or a 2nd-round pick. It was a good pick in the 2nd round, and 2 years later, he was traded for, what was it, a 6th-round pick? That's some hell of a depreciation. But then again, it's all about where he goes, and can the coaches say, I know what's wrong with that guy and I can fix it. You see what I'm saying? I see him. I know how to use him where others may fail. And this happens all the time. Well, guys, they'll have an idea, a team will have an idea of what the player is, but the coaching staff can't realize the player. Some get lost between the cracks, so to speak, right? Well, some just fall up out of it. So we'll see what happens with some of these other guys, because Coach Jay Rogers, the he's a pass rush coach. And then you got Coach Bo on the defensive line. They'll have to be about the business of helping these guys develop. But getting Cam back does create and bring competition to the room. And it does solidify a great deal on defense, because he knows how to play in that system. He's a stalwart. And it kind of gives you more faith and hope in your Saints defense, right? If Cam is there. It does. It helps me out. DeMario's gone, but Cam's could possibly come. It does help insofar as that. But it only happens if a contract is respectable enough that the Saints are going to offer for Cam to put pen to paper. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Also, let's do this as well, because let's do a quick cap check as well. We know that the New Orleans Saints currently, according to Over the Cap, is just roughly over $8.1 million of money remaining, right? We're just with that being said, right? So it's a lot of stuff going on. So whatever the Cam thing could be, we know Mickey, if he's signing you, he gonna more than likely drop that first year down real cheap, and kind of load that back deal up. We'll see how they end up signing, because Mickey don't want to do this other stuff no more. And we'll see how it goes. But there is still things to be done. Getting Cam back helps the defense out big time. It just definitely gives me more faith in the defense, no doubt about it. But also there's the caveat of the Chris Olave conundrum, right? What happens there? Because to me, if the Saints want something to happen to free up more cap money, they have to start there, right? They really need to get this Chris Olave deal done. And them waiting as long as they waiting, they be like, we don't care. You know, they already reset the wide receiver market. So, hell, I don't want now, you know. I know he's got the damn market going, you know, so I don't care. You know, goddamn it ain't my money, you know, yeah. But the market's already set. So, you know, with Njigba, Jackson Smith and Jigba from out there with Seattle, then you seen what the Atlanta Falcons did with their wide receiver Drake London, setting the ceiling and the floor and basically making a contract for Chris Olave. So he has the deadline of getting it done prior to late July when big camp starts. So we're gonna see how all this stuff shakes and goes with Mickey Lomas going forward, because he got some work to do. He was trying to go at Alvin to try to get some of that money back from Alvin. Might not work. It could be a situation where you got to go somewhere else. And I see a guy sitting on top of the team with a $14.1+ million cap hit. If you so enthralled in that, he don't see a problem with that because the guy's a starter. But the cap number with AK-41, co-starter with Travis Etienne, by the way, we'll see how that all looks. But you can't do nothing about that. So you're going to have to move around, baby. I'm interested to see how Slick Mick and the GMs are going to do with that situation, right? So anyway, but yeah, it's most interesting, man, to see. But that's really good news to hear that the Saints are willing to bring Cam in for talks, and that he's willing to come in and kind of talk to the team and get something cracking and popping. Getting Cam back, re-ing up with or extending Chris Olave, because people say they ain't gonna do it. I do think Mickey and the GMs ultimately will re-sign Chris Olave. It's taken a while. I think they still are going to do it. I don't think they flamming Chris Olave. I believe that they want to re-sign him. They're just trying to find some of the money, and they don't want to do certain things, you know, for the money and all this kind of old stuff. But we'll see how it all ends, man. This is an interesting part of it. It's not a bad thing, granted, not a bad thing at all. But it's very fun to be doing this, especially at this time where you see, okay, Mickey, you got a few things to do here. You and the Slick Mick and the GMs got some contract work to do before the start of July. So it's going to be fun with that being said. All right, anyway, let's keep it going. Y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. And as well, like I say, hype the stream and share the stream, hit the like button for me as we keep this thing going. Shout out to Canal Street Chronicles. They also kind of made mention of the fact that the Saints work out UFL standout wide receiver Jalen Cropper during a mini camp. Now, Cropper, they also talked about the backup quarterback Hunter Deckers, who was playing in the United Football League, who recently just ended their season this past weekend, I think it was, where the Louisville team defeated the DC United team. And Louisville got a pro football team in its first year, and it won a championship. So they own some Las Vegas Knights hockey type stuff. That's kind of weird, but nonetheless, that's what happened. So Saints to work out UFL standout Jalen Cropper doing mini camp, right? So that's the Saints brought in Houston Gamblers wide receiver and return specialist Jalen Marino Cropper for a mini workout. According to reports, Cropper previously spent time with the Cowboys and has also worked out for the Denver Broncos. So the Cropper's 25, revived his hopes of NFL hopes with a strong showing in the NFL. He's a former Fresno State standout, emerged as one of the league's top return specialists. There you go. While contributing as a receiver for the Gamblers. Before joining the UFL, Cropper spent 3 years with the Cowboys after entering the league as an undrafted free agent back in 2023. While he appeared in a handful of regular season games, he was unable to carve out a permanent role in the crowded Dallas room. For the Saints, the workout represents a low-risk, potential high-reward opportunity to evaluate a player who could provide value on special teams while competing for depth at wide receiver. New Orleans has consistently looked for playmakers who can contribute in multiple phases of the game, and Cropper provides just that. Whether the workout leads to an NFL contract remains to be seen, but Cropper's recent UFL success has clearly opened the door for another opportunity to pursue his childhood dream. So, what's interesting about this is you remember that, huh? But what's interesting about this is that the Saints are still looking at wide receivers, right? Yeah, it's interesting to see that. to see that that's the main thing, right? We know this is crop, right? The Saints are still looking at wide receivers. They're still looking at wide receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how exactly this will look going forward, because we got 13 wide receivers. We got 13 damn wide receivers right now, fam. We got a son of a former wrestler. You know, we got all kind of stuff going on, and the Saints are not done yet. They're still looking for wide receivers. That to me is phenomenal. That the Saints are still looking for receivers at this juncture of time. That's very interesting. Very interesting that we're still looking for guys at this point. But we'll see how that looks going forward, man. But at the same time, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But they definitely are looking for guys on contract, on special teams. That's one of the things we talked about, whether it's Trey Palmer, whether it's any of these rest of these guys. The Saints looking for return, man, punt return, kick return, and otherwise. They're looking for return people to kind of help them do this thing. So we'll see how that all looks, man, going forward, man. But nonetheless, very interesting stuff to talk about, man. Very interesting. All right. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. All right. Okay. I see Cam, Professor. What's up, Professor? Professor said they signed Cam. Did they? Did they sign Cam Jordan? Hold on. Let me do a check here. From what I'm seeing is, all right. So they're saying Saints and Cam Jordan continue to be positive discussions this morning and working to final. They look, as far as 7 minutes ago, about one of the insiders, they're saying that Cam has continued to have positive discussions this morning and are working to finalize the contract that will bring him back. No word yet from some of the trusted insiders. They're saying that Cam Jordan signed anything, and that's as of 7 minutes ago, right? But I am looking at it. I am definitely looking at it. Nick Underhill just reported that that's just stuff we already knew, that Kamara and Nate Shepard would be limited in minicamp. So that's just one of the things we already knew. So 7 minutes ago, they said they're continuing discussions of it right now. So I have not gotten anything yet. Professor, if you got a valuable source, just put it out there. All right. Coach Jordan says they're not looking for wide receiver just for blocking. They finna open this offense up. Hey, man. Hey, I welcome you in it. I welcome you with that thought process with the Saints looking for all these wide receivers, because obviously Kellen Moore did not like the wide receivers that we had. He brought in 3 last year, traded for Divine Vele from the Broncos. He claimed Palmer off the waiver wire and traded for Jalen Polk. That's 3 last year, and then drafted 3 in the draft. Jordyn Tyson, Bryce Lance, and Barron Brown. That's 6 wide receivers since he got here. There's no position group that I've seen that he had that much influence on. Then it's 13 guys here. So we'll see. Okay, they're saying Ian Rappaport. Hold on, fam. Let me verify this for the family members, because I don't want to tell you guys something. Let me verify. Thank you, Professor. Let me see if I can get there. Yes, sir. Here it is right here. Breaking news. The Saints. It's you're working on a 1 year. It says Cam Jordan returned to the Saints. And it says, this is from Ian Rappaport, the top insider, says building today with hopes of working out a 1 year deal. It's been positive. Ian Rappaport 8 minutes ago said the Saints are bringing back one of their franchise greats as an 8-time is set to return. Sources say the two sides putting together finishes touch of a 1 year incentive-lative deal during this visit today. So Ian Rappaport believes that the Saints are going to sign. It doesn't say that he's signed anything yet. Okay, Professor says his own Bleacher Report. Okay, all right. Let me go to Bleacher Report. God damn it. Let me find out the news from Bleacher Report. And I thought Ian Rappaport was the top dude, but whatever's going on is probably getting close. Because Ian Rappaport did make mention of the fact that he gave particulars. He said it's a 1 year incentive-laden deal, which means I guess if Cam gets 10 sacks again next year, then they'll let him cash in. I don't know. But hold on, let me see if I can pull this up from Bleacher Report. Y'all give me a second. I'm just trying to do due diligence to make sure the reports are validated. But from what I'm getting right now, they're saying that they're working on a deal. Ian Rappaport says that Cam returned to the Saints today. Well, we know he's in the building, and in hopes of working out a 1-year deal that's incentive laden. And it says as his agent and the Saints brass want to get across the finish line. All right, so hold on here. Let me show you. Yeah, I'm not seeing a deal where it's saying that he signed. I'm because it's showing me the same from what I'm getting from Bleacher Report is the same article, bro. It's saying the same thing, that Saints are bringing back one of the franchise greats. Is set to return. Sources say the two sides are putting together the finisher touches on a 1-year incentive laden deal. That's the same thing I'm getting. This is Bleacher Report, by the way, that I'm on right now. And it's basically just showing you the same tweet that I just showed about Cam Jordan, that they're actually working on an incentive laden deal, a 1-year incentive laden deal during his visit today. It's not saying that he signed anything as of yet. Just letting people know. Appreciate it though, Professor, anyway, for the breakdown on it. But yeah, it's basically saying they're working on the touches of a 1-year incentive laden deal. All right, just letting y'all know. Yeah, you say you're waiting on Schefter. I don't know. Schefter didn't say anything, bro. I was just looked at Schefter's tweets right now. Well, let me see. I can put Schefter up here and see what he got to say about it. Hold on, let me see. Because only thing he's saying is some guy won a Pulitzer Prize, that and Rashee Rice is being released from Dallas County Jail after he served a 30-day probation of whatever he did. So yeah, that's pretty much that's what Schefter's saying right now. Schefter's not saying anything right now, but whatever's going on, more than likely it is close to happening. So. A 1-year incentive laden deal, man. That'll work right there. That'll work for old Cam, the man, Jordan, man. So yeah, so there it is. 19 minutes ago. 19 minutes ago, they're saying with the building with the hopes of working out a 1-year deal. It's been all positive as his agent, D. Hendrickson 41, and the Saints brass bring this to the finish line. They say they're trying to bring it to the finish line of a 1-year deal incentive laden. Okay, JP, NFL Network. We're going to go to NFL Network. OG says we got to go. All right, so NFL Network has it. It's another dude. It's saying that, okay, here we go. Is it official? That was the most unique looking for verification of a report that I've had in a long time. Saints veteran defensive end Cam Jordan to resign with the Saints. To resign with the Saints. Let's see what this article is about. Cam and the Saints are on the verge of reuniting. Yeah, Rappaport added that the two sides are currently finalizing an incentive-laden deal. So it's not official just yet. To resign. Yeah, they're saying that he to resign. On the verge of reuniting is the key clop of words right there. Oh man, this is funny, man. We try to find some stuff out. They playing word games. Why they doing that, Who That Nation? They playing all kind of word games with us today. All right, it's not official, but it is there. They obviously are getting close to resigning. So that's pretty much what it is. To resign. You caught that, Cole Jordan? Yes, there it is. That's to resign. We got those words be getting us jammed up sometimes, man, because they see that's pretty sneaky reporting right there. They trying to get some ad revenue on their ads. They got 1 million people from the Who That Nation going, oh yeah, Cam, man, Cam. They playing word games with our people, but it is getting close. So y'all just I know, fam. Yeah, this is some word salad going on with these reporters right now. He getting ready to sign. Nah, he's not quite there yet. But what's cool is the fact that it is getting to a point where you can see some of the details being thrown out there. 1 year, because I heard it was 2, but it's 1 year, 2 sides are putting the finishing touches on a 1-year incentive-laden deal during the visit day. So Mickey Loomis is basically throwing in the potentiality that, whatever contract is offered, that Cam can up it based on his I guess his production, his play, how many sacks he get, this sort of thing. So we'll see what's happening. Right now, Cam is trending. As you can see right here, he says, see, it's another one. This one's 5 minutes ago from the NFL Twitter. Saints finalizing 1-year deal with Cam, returning for his 6th season. This was 5 minutes ago from Rap Sheet, from Ian Rap. He said that he's finalizing. See, Saints signing Cam. Alert. Cam Jordan returned to the Saints building today. See, he finalizing a 1-year deal. So it's getting close. This was 5 minutes ago as of right now. So we'll see what's going on, man. No, Professor, you good, brother. That's that word salad at play, man. But it's getting close. It's definitely getting close, man. Rappaport just threw this out here 5 minutes ago with this tweet here saying the Saints finalizing a 1-year deal with Cam. And, they finalized it. Ain't there yet, but it's getting final. And like I said, Cam trending right now on X. Yeah, here go a few people. 16th season, damn, talk about saying fit in top shape. Cam Daddy is back. Man, he should have been a Lion and all this kind of stuff. Cam Jordan returned for his 16th season. New Orleans is kind of news every Saints fan needed. He has been the steady heart of the defense and true leader for so many years. Glad the team is keeping the veteran presence alive. Shout out to you, Shaman, man. Good commentary on that tweet. But yeah, nonetheless, man, this is what we're hearing. Is that they're working on finalizing it. You got to pay attention to every damn thing nowadays, fam. You got to watch out for the AI. You got to watch out for the word salad. You got to watch out for every damn thing. But anyway, we're going to keep an eye on that right now as it goes. But let's get back into this, man, because I wanted to finish up with that as well. Y'all keep me updated as well on what goes on there, and I'll bounce back to that before the end of the season. For the end of the show. Let me finish up this breakdown right here. We were talking about the minicamp and what to expect. We finished at the number 7 at Cam before we switch to the interviews. The Tyler Shough development in its veteran status. Cornerstone tackle Tyler Shough enters a pivotal 3rd year with the massive expectations. As a foundation piece of protection, his individual development is paramount. Coach Kellen noted that the jump from 2 to year 3 is often massive. Now, Shough now possesses all the full routine and completely understands his expectation as a veteran, and minicamp practices will test his mechanical adjustments against the incredibly quick group of edge rushers. His ability to secure the line provides essential peace of mind for the quarterback. Number 9, the Kool-Aid McKinstry, stepping into a primary starter role. He was a starter last year, but Kool-Aid, is he ready for a jump? And this is the 3rd-year defender tasked with taking a massive leap forward, right? He is penciled in as a definitive starter within the secondary for the upcoming season. The coaching staff wants to see redefined technique and increased vocal communication during these defensive adjustments. Now, entering year 3 allows young players to transition away from overthinking into pure instinct, right? So McKinstry will be tested early and often by high-tempo passing concepts in practice. Establishing his dominance during the mandatory sessions will solidify his status as a premier shutdown corner over time. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, number 9, things we got to look out for. Number 10, Kellen Moore's high-tempo offensive blueprint, right? Coach Moore is heavy emphasis on offensive tempo throughout the mandatory practice sessions. Players have routinely commented on the high energy vibe and the rapid pacing established during the facility. The playbook features a heavy mixture of up-tempo sequencing designed to keep opposing defenses off balance. Now, minicamp serve as a final installation window for the complex pre-snap movements and shifting concepts that we often see. Now, Moore is utilizing his versatility of this new weapon combination to maximize these schematic advantages. Now, how quickly the entire roster internalizes this quick pace system will determine early season success. That's how it goes. So we'll see how this all works. But number 10 is another thing to kind of look out for is Kellen's tempo. Number 11, third-year running back Kendre Miller finds himself facing a golden opportunity to earn a significant role because of multiple backfield components are working through limited participation, extra repetitions. Maybe he could be available. We know that Coach Moore said he's there. Miller must demonstrate the complete grasp of the blitz pickup responsibilities. His natural run talent has never been questioned by the staff. However, consistency and durability remains the biggest hurdles that he must clear to secure guaranteed touches. Now, showing over these 2 days will launch him into training camp with a lot of good momentum. So hopefully Kendre Miller could get healthy. Remember, that's been a major problem with him, and being durable. The Saints cannot count on him. That's why the running back room is so packed with talent, man, at that spot. David Edwards in the battle at the left guard position. David Edwards comes in, he solidifies that left guard position. Now, he's a veteran guard that's heavily favored to, he's just going to be the starter on that left side. And we know already he has to develop the chemistry with the starting center, Eric McCoy. That is something that we want to see. So we heard the complimentary thought from Eric McCoy about David Edwards. We heard what guys like Kelvin Banks Jr. said, what he thought about other players. So David Edwards is a veteran guard. He won a chip with the Rams. He played with high-powered Buffalo Bills offense, and he bringing that same veteran ability to the black and gold. So he got a wealth of starting experience and should stabilize that left guard spot and help with, coaching up some of the younger players from that side. And locking down his position allows the offensive line to build essential cohesion. We need that chemistry before, during the summer break. Now, what's interesting is how good is that left side going to be once Eric McCoy is totally healthy, and that left guard, when they're running behind left guard David Edwards and Kelvin Banks Jr. from the left side. They're running behind him because I don't really have that much faith in Cesar Ruiz on the opposite side with Cesar and Tolly. But that left side, oh my goodness, Kelvin Banks Jr. along with David Edwards, that's going to be something. That's going to be something. And, of course, number 13, the defensive tackle pecking order behind the starters. The interior defensive line rotation features some battles for positions behind established, would be looked at as established starters, right? So you got young defensive tackles, Brian Bresee. You got guys like Christian Miller, who's the second-round draft pick the Saints picked up. He eventually, once he get healthy and pick up enough, he at some point will assume the starting position next to Brian Bresee, right? But you still have a lot of our veteran guys there, whether it's Devon Gacho, whether it is. So we'll just have to take a look at it. All right, so we got some of the family members chiming in, letting us know that it became officially official, according to ESPN, that the Saints are bringing back, hold on, let me pull it up here, fam. Give me a second. 4 minutes ago, that the Saints, can we say it now that breaking the Saints, Cam Jordan, the sources, Cam Jordan to return. Okay, hold on. To return to the New Orleans Saints on a 1-year deal. The Saints are set to bring back defensive end Cam Jordan for a 16th season. The Saints and Jordan are putting the finishing touches on the one. Sound like the same thing that I had from the tweet. Hold on, fam. Give me a second. Let me go back to it because it sounds the same thing. So hold on here. Let's see what the Rappaport and the rest of them are saying. It's the same thing. It's just they got the same thing. Hold on. Let me read it for the family member because it sounds like the same thing. All right, Saints are set to bring back defensive end Cam Jordan for 1 year. The Saints and Jordan are putting the finishing touches on a 1 year incentive laden deal during the veterans visit to the team, according to sources. Jordan, 36, became a free agent in March with his last contract with the Saints automatically and void. The Saints, however, never shut the door on Cam, even after acquiring former Las Vegas Raider defensive end Tyree Wilson in trade. Jordan told former teammate Tyron Armstead in March that he had 3 teams he was considering as a free agent, adding that he understands his age was a factor in negotiations, even if he had 10.5 sacks. Jordan was the Saints' first round pick out of Cal back in 2011 and had 132 official sacks, a team record since the statistics became official in 1982. He also ranks first in franchise history, 175 tackles for a loss, 4th in pass deflections, 5th in forced fumbles, and 10th in fumble recoveries. Cam the Man Jordan. So they said the Saints are putting the finishing touches on a 1 year incentive laden deal during the veterans visit with the team. So I guess, you know what, we could pretty much just say it's a done deal, can't we? Because let's just say it's a done data because we already got the particulars of the deal. It's a 1 year incentive laden deal, which means more than likely, possibly it's a vet minimum. And it's one of the deals where we'll see what it is. So is it a vet minimum that they're throwing at him? Perhaps a little bit more, maybe, what was it? What did Cam want? 6 north of 6? North of 6? Because I think there was 3 to 6. I think he wants north of 6, somewhere 7 and 8, somewhere along in there. We'll see what it is. And incentive laden, meaning that is based on how many games that he plays. Incentives could be a multitude of different things. It could be games played, snaps, accrued. Sacks is a big one. That's a big money metric. When you get so many sacks, you get extra money for that. All kind of stuff could be thrown at. Yeah, so there you go. So it's Cam Jordan returned to Saints on a 1 year deal. We just have to say it's what it is because that's the meat, pretty much the meat and potatoes of the arrangement. It's a 1 year incentive laden deal. Right? So even though ESPN is throwing this sounds exactly similar to what Ian Rappaport put out 24 minutes ago. That, he said there's 2 sides of putting together finishing touches on a 1 year incentive laden. It's the same verbiage, basically, that we got next year, which it's a matter of time before it's officially announced. Yeah, that's right, EJ. You just right. Yeah, EJ, you're right. He says just waiting for the Saints to confirm it. That's right, bro. That's right. Or lady or, person. I don't want to say EJ is a man. It might be EJ is a lady. I don't know. But shout out to EJ. All right, so anyway, that's good news. What do you guys think about getting Cam the Man Jordan? They playing with our emotions. No, I think the deal is going to be announced as such. I mean, they already got the particulars of what it is. It's a 1 year incentive laden deal, whether it's a vet minimum or whatever it is. Cam is electing to say, hey, man, let's just come on back, and let's just do this again. Because the reality is, I think he wants to be on team before the time comes, and we'll see what that is going forward. But we'll just have to see. But shout out to y'all, man. Good to see y'all. Ro, I see you, brother. Shout out to Ro. Antoinette, what's up, Antoinette? Shout out to Antoinette. Coach Jordan, Uptown Stud. What's up, fam? Appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like button, man. We up in this thing. Who that to all of you. Professor, shout out to Professor. Good to see you, my brother. Kai from the Nola Chop podcast. Shout out to you. Greg Raging Cajun. What's up, my brother? Good to see you in the stream as well. Brother Philip Harvard, shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you as well. Much love. EJ, shout out to you. Who else we got in that in the game? What's up, Donald? Shout out to Donald, man. Appreciate you in here as well, man. Debbie, shout out to the queens in here, man. Yeah, Cam won his ring. It's just what it is. But that's the thing is, it's good news because once they confirm, and we know they eventually will confirm this situation, is the fact that we understand that this is a great move for the Saints, right? Getting Cam back, because I originally said I don't think it happens because Cam wants more money. But if he wants to play, they saying, hey man, it's in your hands. I would love to see if it's I don't know if it's I would say it's not a vet minimum. I don't know if it's a vet minimum. We'll see what the contract comes through, what it looks like eventually. But incentive laden could mean a lot of stuff because Cam could be betting on himself to get paid here. I wonder if this contract has like a player option in it. Like he has 1 year, then the next year he can exercise a player option. You know, you never know how this stuff will how it will look going forward, man. But I know he wants to play 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam's contract came with a player option on the second year. We'll see. We'll see. Like right now, all they're reporting is the fact that the Saints are bringing back one of their franchise greats, 8-time Pro Bowler defensive Cam Jordan, set to return. Sources say the two sides are putting the finishing touches on a 1-year incentive-laden contract. That's pretty much all we got right now from Ian Rappaport, who's one of the top guys in breaking this stuff. And like I said, Cam was trending not too long ago. He was actually trending. And his return is he ain't trending no more now. But yeah, Cam this is what we getting right here. So I'm kind of monitoring multiple sports insiders to see what they're saying. But yeah, they're all saying almost the same thing. And Adam Schefter ain't saying nothing, by the way, just to let y'all know. Schefter ain't say nothing about he ain't say nothing about it yet. But yeah, we're seeing the Vikings hiring former Saint executive Ryan Pace. That guy always keeps a job, I tell you what. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, but outside of that, yeah, that's pretty much the latest update that we got. Is the one that Rappaport is reporting that Cam Jordan is working on coming back on a 1-year incentive-laden deal, which is a positive. Now, the effects of this is astronomical because, number one, now I guess not saying you don't have to worry about the third pass rush role, because Cam's going to come and Cam is going to be Cam. Cam's going to be productive. But the great thing about him coming back is his leadership on the defensive side. That's the thing I really treasure about Cam Jordan. Understanding the culture and what we want you to be as a Saints player on the defensive side, steady in the room, talking to, you know what I'm saying? That sort of stuff. So getting him back in that capacity is awesome. Plus, it takes pressure off of some of these other guys. It provides extra security to have another player there. Because I don't think Tyree Wilson, you can take a gene smasher and take Anthony Jennings, Tyree Wilson, and what's the other one? Chris Rumph III, and put them all together, and they still wouldn't be better than Cam. So you have a guy that's this is a first ballot Hall of Fame player who's still highly productive, who obviously the contract is not going to hurt the team in their assertions to go after Chris Olave and get him paid. Because the biggie or the toughie, as Mickey would say, well, that's a toughie. Oh, I know. The toughie would be once they secure the talents of Chris Olave before July, because that was the deadline that Olave told you and the Saints that he did not want to go into July camp, big camp, look with all the stuff over his head. He did not want it to be a distraction. So we'll see how that works. That's the toughie. And then what's going to happen is, because I ascertain, I will say that I'm thinking that Tyler Shough is going to have a solid year. I won't say he won't lead the NFL in passing. I'm not going to go there. All I'm saying is he's going to have a very respectable year as a quarterback for the Saints. Now, he ain't blowing the dodo. He ain't on some Mahomes boys type stuff, but I think it'll be a very respectful year for him in the NFL. And what that means is, as a second-round draft pick, that when the third year rolls around, you wants to start talking about re-signing him. So if you lock Chris Olave down this year on $30+ million, what is it, not 30? It's not 30 no more. It's like anywhere between 33+ mil now. If you lock him in on that big deal to give Tyler Shough his number one wide receiver, right? Then year 3, the following year, Tyler Shough is one you want to start working on negotiations to get him tied up because he's on a 4. You remember he is a second round pick 40, second round quarterback. So he don't have 5 years, he got 4. So you want to start negotiating with him in the 3rd year, which is the season after the one we're currently about to get to. So we have to be mindful, monetarily speaking. That's why the Saints are using the drafts in the way they are, when you drafting all these guys and you keeping the draft picks, except for the Tyree Wilson thing. They traded Tyree Wilson for the 5th round draft pick. But all of the Saints draft picks under Kellen Moore, they're going to make the team. They're going to be on the team. So utilizing these players in that manner and getting them to develop and be, productive starters in the offense from a monetary standpoint, with an expensive wide receiver, an expensive potentially quarterback after that, it's just going to be all different, man. It's just going to look a lot different monetarily speaking. Because right now you have the benefit of having a cheap quarterback because the guy's still in the 2nd year of his rookie arrangement. So it's going to be interesting. Shout out to Torch Production, Fire Lead Productions. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you for being on the stream. Y'all hit that like button and pump the stream up, man. What's up, Don? Don said this will make the Saints a top unit on defense, including all other off-season pieces. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you, my man, for that. Much love. What's up, Larry? Shout out to you as well. Y'all chime in on this. What y'all thoughts on the Cam Jordyn potential re-signing with the team? Like I said, we still monitoring it. But right now, let's just say it's official because you already got the length of the contract. We'll get more of the particulars later on. But 33 minutes ago, this is pretty much what they did. Cam Jordyn is there. So yeah, that's wonderful, man, to be honest with you, because it just mean much. And listen, I was kind of mad at Mickey Loomis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was kind of mad at Mickey Loomis, right, for this whole Cam Jordyn thing. I was kind of upset about Mickey and how he handled the AK-41 situation and the Cam Jordyn situation. And the reason why I was kind of upset and peeved at Mickey Loomis is because I did not like how he was handling these players. Like, if anybody deserves a little bit more leeway in some of these situations, it's these players like Cam and AK-41. Why? Because these guys are your best players franchise. I mean, you got 2 players right now that's for the Saints. AK-41 statistically is the best running back the Saints ever had. He owns all of the rushing stats and receiving stats behind running, but he owns all of that stuff and has an opportunity to add on top of it for this upcoming season. You have to extend out, and give some special privy to guys like that. The Cam Jordyn is a first ballot Hall of Famer when he hangs it up. When he says it's over with and he waits 5 years, Cam Jordyn should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the best defensive player the Saints ever had, right? We talking about, people might say, hold on, Q, but whatever it is, if you don't agree with that, you got to agree that it's between him and Ricky Jackson, because only him and Ricky Jackson have the Hall of Fame stats that put them on. That's why when I did my Mount Rushmore of Saint talent, I told you it was Drew Brees, Willie Roaf, Ricky Jackson, and Cam Jordyn. Why? Because all of those guys had major impact. No disrespect to guys like Martin Anderson and Marcus Colston and all these kind of guys. No disrespect. But when it's said and done, it's not just personal achievements and what you accomplish on your team, but it's how that impacted league-wide. And Ricky Jackson was one of the top sackers when it came down to that. And he wears a gold jacket. Guess what? Cam Jordyn took all his stuff down. So shouldn't that make Cam the man Jordyn up there too? And then he still last year was leading the team in sacks. So in the end, I was kind of peeved at Mickey because I thought if anybody deserved an opportunity because of their resume and what they did for their team, shouldn't it be Cam? Shouldn't it be AK-41? These guys set the measure or set the line or broke the line, however you want to phrase it, about what they did with the team. AK is the top rusher for the Saints, period, ever. took down Mark Ingram stuff. He's the guy, right? Some special privy should be given. Same to Cam, because you don't see that often. And you have your best rusher in league in franchise history and your best defensive player, some would argue, between, him and Ricky. I would say that, Cam Jordan took his stuff down. But man, I'm telling you off top, these are two of the greatest Saints that you ever will see, and they're on this team. They should have special privy. Saints didn't run Drew Brees off here. Y'all know that. Saints didn't run Drew off of here. They sat there and let Drew, and gave him blank checks and everything like this and all this kind of stuff. And I know this might be a little different with the quarterbacks, but I'm talking players now. They didn't run Drew Brees off. They were more than way over patient on Drew, and Drew was damn near 40 years old. Hell, Drew Brees couldn't even throw the ball. They had to get Taysom Hill. That's how Taysom came on the team, because he was kind of the designated deep ball thrower. The guy that throws the ball 30, 40 plus yards down the field. That's how that shit was created, because Drew couldn't throw that ball down there. He would dink and dunk you to death, but when it came down to people needing to throw that ball down, that what Taysom came in there on. That was Sean Payton's original idea, was we just going to have Taysom to be the deep ball guy. But, like I'm saying, man, special consideration should be given for those who excel, beyond others to the point where they set the bar. That's what I'm saying. And I ain't like how Slick Mick Loomis was handling the situation when he gave him that chumpish contract to start off with. And whatever's going on now, we'll see what it is. But it's good to know that the possibility that Cam Jordan is definitely coming back. Like I see in Rappaport, is pretty much working out and telling you the incentives of the deal. All right. So anyway, all right. Yeah. What's up, Kelvin? Says, I don't believe we need him back, but he's back. And I know I don't believe he's the best defender. I will never forget the play in Minnesota when he pulled back. When he pulled back, the best defender, you got to educate me on that play, my brother. Which play are you speaking about? All right. But yeah, Thomas, I agree with you, bro. We need it. Cam's a need. Because regardless or not, whoever you got, Tyree Wilson does not fit the bill. We don't know what Tyree will. We know what Cam been doing, but Tyree Wilson basically was traded because he failed where he was. Now it's a gamble us getting him to see if we can get him to turn into something, and maybe the Saints could do something, because maybe the influence of Cam Jordan and Chase Young can have an influence on Tyree Wilson, because he has the size and the speed. He has the abilities, but something upstairs ain't working. And I ain't saying he's slow. I'm saying it wasn't connecting in a way where it was translating into success. And we talking about the Raiders, where the Raiders had a lot of flim-flam and they had a lot of garbage going on. So maybe a fresh environment helps Tyree Wilson out, right? We don't know. We'll see how that looks going forward into the big camps and all that kind of stuff. But getting Cam here fills a leadership void. It helps with the transition of young young players into the Saints organization, and Cam coming back, because Cam is still outballing over the younger players. You can't dispute that. You cannot dispute that. He's still handling business. He said I just played an interview 30-something odd minutes ago when Cam says younger doesn't necessarily mean better. And he's right. If I can still do the job, why would I not keep doing the job? Thank you, Fire Lead Productions, for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Thank you, bro, and welcome to the family. Much love. Appreciate you. Miscellaneous says, definitely, because treating certain vets like that is a bad look on there. It's bad for optics. Well, hold on now, goddammit. Hold on now. I found Cam Jordan. Alvin Kamara, that's my guy. Hold on now. I'll pay him what I want to pay him. God damn it. But no, Mickey, no, that's bad. That's wrong. Because if somebody had power like that over you, you wouldn't want people to do you like that. That's why you hog up that I know why you hog up the vice president and the general manager job. You don't need that job. You're already the VP. Why you need two jobs? You do that to protect your power in the Saints organization. Everybody else could be an assistant general manager. You got 3 or 4 other general. Thomas Dimitrov, Randy Mueller, and some other guy. You got Kai still here. You got all these guys here, right? That's why I call it Slick Mick and the GMs, because Mickey operates. He got several concierges. It's like Mickey's a mob boss. Hold on now, dang, we got to take over this. God damn it, these guys over here in New Jersey. Hold on now, that Soprano guy. I'm tired of his ass, man. We got to do something about that. We're gonna have to send the guys over there, man. We got to deal with him over there. You know what I'm saying? It's like Slick Mick is a mafia boss, and he has a bunch of concierges that he uses to get it. He has a board of people that he rations with. All those people, Slick Mick and the GMs, as I call them, he gets in a council with these guys, and that's how this is working. His decisions are better, not because he's exclusively making the decisions, but he does consort with his group of former general managers, his former boss, Randy Mueller, who he's now the boss of, and Dimitrov, who used to run the Atlanta Falcons organization, right? He consorts with these men. These are the concierges. They tell Mickey whether or not he should hit Tony Soprano's group over there in New Jersey, right? Yeah, so it's simply what it is. But what I'm saying is the optics is he hogs up the power of the position of the VP and the general manager because of this thing. He wants to control. So now, hold on, nobody's going to do me. Like, hold on, I'll cut my own goddamn checks. Hold on now, goddamn it. I'm the guy over there, So Mickey understands that. But optically, you always want your best players to ascend, and that is how you end up paying them. Like, you guys do what you're supposed to do. You come to work on time, you ball out, you handle business, and we'll pay you. That's the thought process. That's the problem. That's the thought process. Anything else is not, it won't be tolerated. We don't want a whole veto situation going on because Mickey, you get mad, Mickey. You see what I'm saying? Imagine Mickey in the veto situation. We don't want to get too much into that, but hold on now. And Mickey comes out of the closet. No, we don't know. I've been warning you, goddammit. But anyway, what I'm saying is it's just a great thing to have Cam Jordyn back. What they're reporting is a 1-year incentive-laden deal. We'll see what that means as we get more intricate into the contract wherewithal. But I do appreciate the fact that Cam's coming back. I do appreciate Alvin Kamara and Cam, because what it means is getting these players into the team that we currently have, they bring a steadying presence. Like, these guys have been through it, right? They've been through a lot of football. And to have Tyler Shough, to have Alvin with Travis Etienne and Chris Olave and Jordyn Tyson and Divine Vele and all these others, Jawan Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, to have all these really solid pieces around Tyler Shough to ensure success, that's a wonderful thing. Having Cam on the defense without Double D being there with Lonte Taylor, like him or lump him, he was a guy that did some positive stuff as well. Him getting Cam there helps big time with the leadership void, because Cam feels that hole, because they did not replace Cam with anybody that is comparable to what he's done, not just from a historical standpoint, but from a modern standpoint. There's nobody here there that's cutting up. Cam has been beat. Matter of fact, he's been beaten out on Carl Granderson. Granderson is the other guy next to Chase Young. Carl Granderson, with Chase getting 10, Cam getting 10.5, Carl has 6. So unless Carl Granderson ready to start averaging 10 and 11 sacks a year, I don't think he ever had double-digit sacks, especially since we paid him. So like I said, I've been putting a lot of pressure on this Cam thing, on this Cam and this Granderson thing, because this doesn't take Granderson off the hoop. He has to also step his game up, because people I'm looking at, I'm like, Carl, you got to do better than this. Grando, you got to step it up, buddy. 6 sacks, and everybody else is averaging 10 sacks over the last. You got to step your stuff up, brother. And it ain't like you hurt. You played 17 games last year and 17 before that, bro. You got to step it up, man. You got to bring it this upcoming year, man. There ain't no excuses. You're going to have to step it up. And it's the same story with Grando. He started off good, and then by the midway to the end of the year, he fell off a cliff somewhere. You got to sit out the search party to find him. You got to send out the search party to find where Granderson done went at. Where you at, girl? No sacks, all this kind of stuff. Saying, man, but at some point you got to start stepping up and stepping out. So this is a good thing for Cam the man, Jordyn. Shout out to Cam and the Saints getting it done, man, to bring him back, because it definitely helps the void in our defense. Also, Justin Reed. I think Justin Reed last year had a similar season, like in terms of learning the defense, like we seen with Tyrann Mathieu when he first stepped in the door. When Tyrann first came from the Chiefs to the Saints, his first year was he didn't know what he was doing back there. He didn't know what was going on. The game was flat. He didn't know what the hell was going on. But that second and the rest of the years, he really kind of stepped this thing up and started running it, right? So that's a positive. But I'm really thinking Justin Reed will also step his game up too. He will kind of, because he had the captain on his shirt last year too. I'm expecting him to carry on with that role on the back end. But I'm really expecting really big things from Justin Reed, man, coming up this upcoming season. A lot of people ain't talking about Justin Reed, but I've been seeing a lot from Justin Reed. Like last year, he was kind of, hit or miss. But this year, he looks different. He's talking different, working out differently. I think Justin Reed is going to really have a very special year for the Saints. Like, he's going to step his game up. Also, I like Julian Blackmon being there as well. But we'll see how Julian Blackmon, his thing is staying healthy. We'll see if Mr. Ted Rath can do something with helping him stay on the field. So this is going to be cool. But shout out to Cam and the Saints for trying to get this thing officially done. Philip says, can you say Cam is official? Well, like I'm saying, brother, from what I'm seeing is we just waiting for confirmation, right? That's pretty much what it is. Pretty much the foundation of the deal is in place, and it's already been Ian Rappaport and Cat Terrell and them are saying that they're set to bring them back. It's the same verbiage over and over and over again. But pretty much for the most part, you could say that that's what's going to happen. A 1-year incentive-laden deal. We're just going to have to wait and see what the particulars of the offer is. It's a vet minimum deal that he's agreeing to, this sort of thing. That is yet to, but definitely I do believe that a deal is imminent as well. So yeah, and all of them are saying the same thing, that they're all of them saying he's set to bring them back. It's the same verbiage everywhere, and they talking about some of the stuff that's actually going on right now. Like everybody's saying nearing a deal, but it is so. But also Nick Underhill is also reporting a few things as well. He's mentioning some stuff that's going on. Currently the Saints are actually, they're at the, not OTAs, they were at the Saints veteran minicamp. So there are things going on. Thank you, Philip, for the question. Yeah, words today to return. Yeah, all of them are saying the same thing. But you could pretty much say it's not a really officially official until the Saints confirm the story. But you can, if you trust your insiders, a lot of them are pretty much saying the same thing, that the Saints deal is pretty much there. It's just a 1-year incentive deal, and then once they confirm, we'll know, and then we'll look at the contract whenever it becomes available. But Nick Underhill, it says that Chris Olave, some information for the family members today, is the fact that Chris Olave is off blood thinners. He went off blood thinners on June the 29th, according to a source. And he's avoiding contact for now and will be good to go after the 29th, right, of this month. So he was off. Well, he was off the June the 29th. They say he was off the thinners, right? They said he goes off the blood thinners on the 29th, and he's good after that, meaning he can get back to playing football after that. You get what I'm saying? So that's positive, because that shows you a timeline that he'll be ready in full participation of training camp. This is sourced from Nick Underhill. He's reporting that Olave is off the blood thinners on June the 29th of this month. After that, he's good to go. Pretty much what it is. Everything at this point is exactly as planned, is what he's saying. Also, Nick is reporting that Oscar Delp racked up 5 catches today. A good day for Oscar Delp. So we see Oscar Delp involved in the training camp. I mean, not training camp, the mini camp, whether getting some play. Remember, he was kind of limited. Christian Miller was limited. Bryce Lance, other guys, Styles Jr. He was a few of these guys. Lorenzo, these guys were kind of limited because of various injuries that occurred. So not bad injuries, but, you know, a little small rinky-dink type things they were limited on. And it's pretty much what it is. So right now, that's what it is. And I'll probably do a report later on and come back and kind of hit that thing up. But the big news of the day is the fact that Cam is coming back to the Saints. All right. Let's see. 11 says he may retire after the season. It seems like, well, you know, we'll see how it goes. I know that he spoke about it, that he actually wanted to play multiple years. The Saints maybe agreed to 1 year. We never know. It might be a player option in there. Maybe Cam decided to, forego on a few things. If I throw this option in here, it could be one of these situations where he's betting on himself to get the sacks, to get his money right. You see what I'm saying? Could be something like that. We'll see how it all works. All right. Thank you, OG. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Yeah, indeed. Greg says Cam is the soul of the team. Defensively, like I said, it is a solid thing, man. It's a solid thing, man. Shout out to OG. I didn't know he was your birthday, man. Shout out to OG, man, for his birthday, man. Shout out to OG. Didn't know that. Happy birthday, OG. I missed that message, bro. Happy birthday, my dog. All right, so yeah, we'll see how this all works, but this is good news, man, for the Who Dat Nation to get Cam back today and add him to that defense, man. So that, you know, now you're just missing Demario Davis going, Caden Ellis, they're having Cam. That means so much. It really does, man. Because at first I was like, but now I'm like, okay, Saints, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I like. All right, Hemisphere says there's just too much going on with Olave's health. The blood clots to his concussions, just much health issues he has been going through. Indeed, bro. Indeed. But he's coming out of it, you know. And like I said, man, we'll see how his contract situation happened, man, because I don't know what's going to happen from that contract standpoint in terms of we just have to wait and see, because we got late July before training camp starts. So Mickey and the GMs got some time to figure out what they're going to do. I know they can't get nothing from Alvin Kamara unless they go and talk to him now. Perhaps Kamara did. It's the craziest thing ever. I don't know what he's doing, but if he wants a cut and pay, then he would just have to talk to Alvin, and Alvin will say, well, what you got to do is this. But I know Alvin Kamara's people, he don't want to take a pay cut, but maybe there's something. But then again, he said nobody approached him about it. So Mickey Loomis was handling all of this through the media, which is a bad idea. If you want him to do something, why not approach his agent and talk to him about it? According to what Kamara said in several points when he appeared at the OTA phase 3, when he showed up at phase 3, he basically said that nobody communicated to him about taking a pay cut. So Mickey's doing all this through the media. So I don't know how that's going to work out. And the only way to move around that is to kind of rework Cesar Ruiz's deal, you know, to do that. I know he don't want to touch that and add some more years to the agreement. I can understand that. But also another caveat to kind of add to it too is this is not to quell the excitement or the happiness about getting Cam back, but man, you know, we could have saved $18 million, but we could have saved almost $19 million in dead money if we would have read up with Cam. We could have saved it's almost 19 million in dead cap money if we would have reworked. And I'm saying that now, but I'm like, man, it could have, if we were going to get him back anyway, we could have done this before the March deadline, before his dead money hit, because he wanted to come back. Now, we can't do nothing about that now because the dead money is locked in for the season now because we passed the deadline. So there's nothing we could do about that part of it. But just thinking, progressively and proactively, if we had done this early, we could have saved ourselves some cap money. We could have saved ourselves something because Cam's dead cap money is $18.7 million. So we could have, if Slick Mick and the GMs would have moved a little faster, perhaps we wouldn't have to incur so much of that dead cap money, because we got $121 million worth of it for this season that just on there, so just a lesson to be learned, right? But nonetheless, that's what it is. Okay, thank you, Coach. You said Ross said it. Okay, cool. All right, it says it's official. Let me go ahead and do some more here and pull it up and see what we got here, fam. And because we got here Tina. Shout out to Tina. She says, looks like all signs are pointing to Cam returning. She got the Cam Jordan tweet, same one up. But I haven't heard anything from the in terms of what the Saints are saying, but I'm pretty sure we'll hear something sooner or later from the organization about Cam Jordan, man. Is Cam coming back? So great news there to get Cam back. That's a big deal for the Saints defense. Trust me, it is, fam. Yeah, that is awesome. All right, so yeah, it's official. All right, so nonetheless, man, listen, let me keep doing this. Y'all feel in the chat and let me know how y'all feel about the Cam Jordan coming back, what impacts you believe he'll have to the defense and to the team, period. That's great moves as we finish this up. Let me finish. They're trying to finish this up for a while. Where did I stop, fam? Let me see. I think I was at number 13, a defensive tackle pecking order, right? 12 rather. The defensive tackle rotation, right? So the interior defensive line, we talk about Brian Bresee. We talk about when ultimately Christian Miller would assume that role. The Saints took him with a second-round pick this past draft. He'd been dealing with some injuries, so we know Nate Shepard's there. We know that Devon Gotcho's there. We know that they re-signed John Ridgway. We know Christian Boyd's in the final year of his rookie agreement. So we know that that's going on. So the coaching staff is searching for, that pecking order to see, what happens there. Now, interiorly speaking. So we got some players there. So the defensive rotation, perhaps we might see some of that worked out over the next 2 days, because what we see happening in the Saints rookie minicamp, or not rookie minicamp, but the Saints minicamp right here does translate to training camp. A lot of what we're going to see in the next couple of days will ultimately, like how the rotations work out, how guys look, will ultimately carry in to training camp in late July. Remember, these 2 days are pivotal because you're going to look for Kellen Moore will have some installation more for his offense. He'll have some defensive installation. Coach Staley, special teams wise, they'll have some installation. And then a lot of that over the next 2 days will then carry on into training camp in late July, because we won't see these players again after these next 2 days until training camp starts. And that's when you're getting ready for preseason, prior to preseason, all this kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, because one of the key metrics of the Saints defense is we got to get better at stuff in the run and fire off and get guys get there. So we know Brian Bresee is incredibly disruptive. We know the Saints picked up his option, but he needs a running mate. Another guy young next to him, Christian Miller, very disruptive. They're looking forward to see him showcasing his unique versatility and taking snaps at that tackle position. So we'll see how it all works, but they'll be seeing about generating constant pressure internally, like from the edges and from the inside. So they got guys like Bresee and Christian Miller, guys that can push the inside of the defensive line, to push the inside of that opposing offensive line, create pressure in the face of the quarterback is a positive thing. So we'll see how that defensive rotation starts to filter out on that point number 12. Number 13, we talk about the wide receiver depth. They have 13 wide receivers. We talked about today the potentiality of the Saints was looking at a former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver. What was his name? The man's name, Jalen Marino Cropper, who was in the UFL. Gamblers, playing with the Gamblers. The Saints ultimately are, we're looking to see what kind of, can he help them from a defensive standpoint? Can we, from a special team standpoint, rather, bringing him in to see what he can do from a return standpoint, because we still looking for kick returners and punt returners And like in the OTAs, you're seeing a lot of application where you're seeing guys being tried at punt and kick off return for the Saints with special teams. Even though we're excited about offense, we're excited about the defense, the special teams has to get better. It's not been where it's supposed to be. Remember last year, half the year, we got rid of Blake Group. He got him on up out. He started missing kicks like he had a virus or something. He was just crazy, missing kicks and all kind of stuff. Saints said enough. Got rid of him. Charlie Smith, brought him in here. Charlie Smith did a really good job. I think he made like 75% of his kicks straight off, coming off the practice squad. Very unique, big kicker, strong leg, kicking them from way out there. But they bringing in Shipley, the former Texas Longhorn kicker, to compete with him because the Saints are ultimately looking to get that part of the game worked out, to figure out the kicker situation. We just got tired of going through Australian undrafted punters, so they brought in the Ryan Wright, who fantastic strong leg punter from the Minnesota Vikings, and paid him, fairly, beyond fairly, to come in and stabilize the punting situation. So we do realize that the Saints are still searching for help at the kick return, punt return position. There are currently 13 wide receivers that's in that depth room, which lets you know that Kellen Moore's focus is getting the best wide receivers of the group, which will be interesting. He himself brought in 6 of these guys, 3 last year, 3 through the draft this year, and he's continuing to look, and actually more than that if you consider Moose Alford and some of these other guys that they had picked up off the waiver wire that they brought in to try to help out Brown, not Barron Brown, but the other guy. It's another Brown on the team. So, yeah, bringing in these different guys, but 13 wide receivers to create massive competition at the wide receiver room. It's going to be interesting to see how if he can do that. So a lot of different styles of wide receivers too. You got big wide receivers that can run. You got smaller wide receivers that can run. Everybody can run. And they got some that are really good route runners, some that are really good in pass pro. So it'll be interesting to see how this slam pack wide receiver room works out. Then, of course, you're looking at, we talked about the kicking duel, touched on that with Shipley, Mason Shipley, and Charlie Smith kicking there. We do realize that we need our special teams to improve, but both players have good leg strength, right? We do realize, even I think Charlie Smith's leg strength a little stronger than Mason's, but bottom line is they can, it's going to be a good kicking battle. So, it'll maybe provide some pressure situations to kind of evaluate the accuracy and the mental processing of both players, right? So the coaching staff is meticulously tracking every single field goal attempt throughout the offseason program. And an early favorite could emerge based upon who handles the fluctuating wind situation, if they can get outside and kick when the rain stops, because it's currently raining, down here as well. So we'll see how that rolls. And then the final point is just the full out final roster watch, right? Who's going to be this, who's going to be that, who's going to make plays, who's going to step up, stand out. Could it be a situation where Oscar Delp kind of step ahead of Noah Fant in the tight end rotation? Stuff like that. How looking and engaging some of the players we're keeping an eye out on, like Ruiz, and then seeing how far along, or do we have some players from the offense that can, or defense rather, anywhere that can show that they've picked up the game or the lessons in a way where they excel. They're just naturals to the program, because we do get those too. So it's all cool and all clean as we talk about that, man, going forward. So that's some of the camp stuff that's going on. Plus, on top of it, the Saints, picking up Cam Jordyn and getting him back into the fold, which is a very positive thing. Love Cam Jordyn. Big part of the Saints defense and culture. Getting him back in the building is something that I think is incredibly cool to see. And of course, just to kind of talk about it too, fam, shout out to Nick Underhill. He did drop some 3 trial players for the Saints during minicamp. They're still looking for returners. There's 3. We talked about the other guy just moment ago. There's also a veteran the Saints are trying out during minicamp, because we do get the tryouts, the players. Let me see if I can get some of these player cards that the Saints are kind of doing as well, just to give y'all some of the information on some of these players. The Saints brought in for a tryout this gentleman right here, Steven Sims, as well, bringing him in for a tryout. And guess where? In special teams at the vet wideout and return specialist. So they're bringing him in here. As you can see, this gentleman here played in a league with Washington, the Whataburgers, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Cardinals. And you can see right here, not too much going on in terms of catching the ball. His best receiving season was in 2019. He had 34 catches and 4 touchdowns, and then things kind of dwindled based on the games that he played. But you can see the return game. You can see where he's hitting at in the return game. For them, he had some returns going on there. Had a touchdown there in his rookie year from the kick return. 32 returns for 109. That's actually pretty good. 32 attempts for 819 yards. He also had a touchdown. He took 91 yards there. So the Saints looking out for that. He also has some value in the punt return as well. You can see that. So they're bringing this gentleman in here, Steve Sims, in to take a look at. We also know Hunter Deckers is coming back as well. He spent all season. They're trying him out too. So Hunter Deckers could be coming back for the black and gold. Remember, he just got through playing for the UFL team, and the Saints always looking to kind of add or bring guys in, so to speak, that are, for a camp situation, man. So anyway, let me kind of show y'all this article right here so y'all can see right here. Shout out to, this is NFL Tiara that's giving the scoop on it. Triplet reports Saints are hosting wide receiver Steve Sims. I just showed you him. Y'all know who Hunter Deckers is, and wide receiver Tay Martin as trial players during mandatory minicamp. Deckers, 24, started his college career at Iowa State and the successful Brock Purdy after he was drafted by the Niners. However, he had to leave the program after being indicted in a federal sports gambling probe. Wow. He eventually landed at Iowa Western Community College for the 24 season and signed with the Saints as an undrafted free agent. Guy was actually pretty good. He was among the final cuts, but stuck around on the practice squad before being released at the end of the season. During his long year as a starter at Iowa Western, Deckers completed 64% of his passes for over 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns against 10 picks and 13 games. Very respectable numbers by Hunter Deckers. The Saints like something about him. They having him. They keep bringing him around. And like you mentioned, veteran wide receiver Tay Martin, who's from Houma. This is a Houma native player that's here, and he might get an opportunity to play trial for the Saints, and that got to be cool. So this is the other guy the Saints are bringing in for a tryout today. Tay Martin, wide receiver. He's from Houma, Louisiana, played at Oklahoma State in college, and you can see some of his numbers. He has some NFL experience with Tennessee and the Whataburgers. Not too much to talk about in terms of his catching, but you can see this could be also another player the Saints could be looking for. He is, I don't see his size on here, but nonetheless, this might be a special team. I don't see him on any special teams acumen, but they might just be a player that they're interested in. The Saints still looking at wide receivers at this late date is crazy. But see, that just goes to show you that they're fixated on getting the best people that they can find. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Anyway, man, with that being said, man, I love the best news of the day is the fact that Cam Jordan, man, is ultimately coming back to the Saints. According to reports, they're saying that it is he's playing. What is it? Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. It's a 1-year deal. And this was something Chad Johnson had tweeted out from that. They know it's national news that Cam Jordan, a 1-year deal with Cam returning for his 6th season, finalizing a 1-year deal. They say it's an incentive-laden deal for Cam. And it's good news, man, because this is how it's supposed to be. Our best player is supposed to stand. Just a lot of people were saying Cam's too old, man. The man is beating some of the younger guys, so the hell with that. As long as he's productive, man, let Cam be. All right, Hemisphere just says, Q, just throwing this out there about Olave. He's a part of the reason why the Saints wide receiver room has a lot of talent. Is he the part? Not that they're trying to move on from Olave, being prepared in case Olave has to retire. Well, I don't know if he have any thought process of retiring, but insurance is insurance, right? You can't totally you don't have anybody. The Saints didn't go out you seen them go get Jawan Jennings or some wide receiver out there that has done it where they were a guy that the team relied upon for more than one season, right? The guy, multiple years, the guy was out there. Either he was a number 2 or had at some point he was a number 1 and he carried the offense. The Saints don't have that guy on their team. They don't. So if that's why I was saying that Chris Olave, I do believe they believe in Chris Olave, and I do believe that they want to pay Chris Olave his money. I do believe them when they say that. You look at the wide receiver room with all 13 plus wide receivers in the room, very few of them guys have actual NFL experience where they were called to be relied upon in a way where the offense fell on their shoulders and they had to produce for the offense to move, right? That people actually planned or they schemed for this particular man because the offense flowed directly through this player. We don't have that guy. The only guy on the team that does that is Chris Olave. Now, Jordyn Tyson has the potentiality to be a guy that could play either one of those positions, right? He could be a 1 or a 2. He has the speed, the size, everything. He banged up. He had not done it before at the NFL level is what I'm saying. So there is potentiality, but that's not the same as somebody actually doing it. Chris Olave's done the one. Divine Valley, even though he's played in a year in the league for multiple years, he has not met those requirements that we talked about. He didn't meet those requirements I just mentioned. And then if you go underneath him with Jalen Polk, no. Potentiality, yes. But none of them have done it. And then you go further down the list, whether you're talking about who else we got, man. There's so many of them. Y'all help me out. Bub Means, Kevin Austin Jr., Mason Tipton, Moose Alford, Bryce Lance, Barrion Brown, the wrestler's kid. All these different people have not done it before. That's why I was saying that I still think that Olave will get his bread because the Saints did not bring in any other player that can do half of what he did, not even half. So it's like this whole offense, Tyler Shough is running it, but the number one option is Chris Olave, and Jordyn Tyson will come in to complement him. And which is really interesting because since Chris Olave's been here, to be fair to Chris Olave, the issues that he's having is not tissue injuries, that he got hamstring issues, Kendre Miller, all these other, Seldaveri, kept having these muscle, this type of thing. He had concussion issues. And I keep telling people this, you can't help if somebody's going to hit you in your helmet. You can't help that. You cannot help that. You cannot help if somebody's going to hit you in your helmet. Now, the only thing you can do realistically is to put the helmet on. He changed his helmet to the best concussion-proof helmet that he could find. He did that last year, and it cut it down. Now, he can also, my thing was, get that, that was good, but also get the foam wrap that goes on top of it, as well. Extra security. He said he wasn't going to do that. He will wear the helmet, and he actually did a really good job last year. Then he had the blood clot issue. That's not something that he had repetitive. That was something that happened, and he got through it, and that's not something that lingered on. We didn't have that issue before. So, like I was saying, it's one of these situations where, because that could happen to anybody. Like somebody hits you in your helmet. How do you stop people from hitting you in your helmet? Like you can keep your head up, you can get down. When he got knocked out in the Carolina game, he was trying to chase that high ball that Carr threw, and that laid him out. And Carr ain't going to take responsibility for the hit that he threw it. The man went up high to try to go and get it to make a play. Guy did his job and laid him out. The funny part about it is, if it's any funny part, is the fact that he came back the next time he was there and, just exorcised the demons out of that. He took possession of the field. He got knocked out and sent on an ambulance too. But you cannot help how people hit you in your helmet. Now, you can wear the helmet, and he did that, and that cut it down. Now, going forward, regardless of what we think, I think that the Saints will pay him eventually. They will give him the money, and then they will have to be about the business going into for Tyler Shough's third year, getting ready to pay him. You see what I'm saying? So you got your wide receiver 1 and you got your quarterback. Those two going to get paid coming up here soon. And everybody else, they just work through the draft and get, very friendly, team-friendly deals, maybe a little further out, just a little tad further. But none of these big knockdown deals, all this kind of stuff. Saints going to build through the draft. They're going to make smart signings here or there. And that's how the team's going to be constructed, especially during the Tyler Shough and Kellen Moore era. That's my take. But nonetheless, man, that's what I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate y'all, man, as well. Yeah, I did say, okay, thank you. Appreciate you, bro, for that. He said the Saints Wire is confirming that Cam is back. Yes, thank you for that as well. And shout out to all you guys, man, for being in the stream. What's up, Shazam? Shout out to Shazam for being in this thing. Any questions, throw it in the chat. But listen, fam, this is a great show, man. I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this thing as well. Y'all hit the like button and amp the stream up as well. Feel free to hype the stream, share the show's links, and hit the like button. Shout out to our Patreon and YouTube membership family. We got a show that'll be coming up for you tonight. Our Patreon show is going ahead. We got a bunch of stuff coming into the Big Q archive. I've been dropping some stuff from the pharmaceutical side of things that I got for our Patreons tonight as well. Before our rest of our family members, our YouTube membership and Patreon champions, we got some more Saints stuff we're going to talk about tonight as well, based around the Saints minicamp. So with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all on that. I appreciate y'all, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show, and I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love. Peace. Do that too.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.